And now the end is near, and so I face the final curtain. My friend, I'll say it clear, I'll state my case, of which I'm certain. I've lived a life that's full. I traveled each and every highway, and more, much more than this, I did it my way. Regrets, I've had a few, but then again, too few to mention. I did what I had to do, saw it through without exemption. I planned each charted course, each careful step along the byway, and more, much more than this, I did it my way. Yes, there were times, I'm sure you knew, when I bit off more than I could chew. But through it all, when there was doubt, I ate it up and spit it out. I faced it all, and I stood tall, and did it my way. I've loved, I've laughed and cried, I've had my fill, my share of losing, and now, as tears subside, I find it all so amusing to think I did all that, and may I say, not in a shy way, oh no, not me. I did it my way. For what is a man? What has he got? If not himself, then he has not to say the things he truly feels, and not the words.
Let's test the evil bot.
I forgot I made it knock. Oh, what do you guys think about the fucking knock sound effect? I did that so to throw everybody off. Get fucked, losers. Get fucked.
Yes,
Get fucked.
it was
Oh, okay. Hi! What's up, guys? So we have the Saberspark response. We also have some random fucking, like, Queen Izzy document about Birdie that we're gonna get into. Originally, I wasn't gonna touch it, but then I was scrolling through the document and I was like, holy shit, this shit is funny. So I'm gonna look at it. Oh my god, why are you guys talking about Birdie drama? Why are you talking about Birdie drama? Why are you talking about Birdie drama? Because I fucking can, okay? Because I fucking can. I don't care anymore. Yeah, the fucking Izzy document. Let me show you this shit, bro. Hold on. 57 fucking pages of this shit, dog. Like, come on. Oh my god, bro. Fuck me. But yeah, we'll be watching the Saberspark response first, and then we're gonna dig into the fucking 57-page document. Am I wearing a onesie? Yeah, kind of. It's like a Hello Kitty hoodie onesie thing or something. Yeah, 57 pages. So this document, by the way, was actually Queen Izzy's original script for her Birdie video or whatever the fuck, which, like, I don't even know why she was gonna make it. I feel like I don't know. I feel like she didn't need to make this, but whatever. Content, I'm gonna cover it. But first of all, let's get into Saberspark. For those who aren't caught up, Saberspark was accused of raping a woman at a 2012 and 2013 BronyCon convention, whatever the fuck you want to call it, right? The allegations are pretty much just testimony right now. There's no other evidence to really back up any of the claims. Blah, 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 blah. YouTube user, whatever. What the fuck is her name? I love Kim Possible a lot, or whatever. That YouTuber was the one who platformed the allegations against Saber on, the internet, blah, 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 blah. She did it shittily, blah, 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 blah. I don't care. Let's get into it, okay?
Hello,
Fuck you.
I'm Stephen Carver, and I go by the name of Saberspark.
Basically, I love Kim Possible a lot, is a fucking idiot who doesn't know how to platform or handle sexual assault allegations, and they're getting raped for it.
On YouTube. For the sake of transparency, I will be on camera for this video.
I gotta fucking turn this shit down.
Here, I will be referencing.
Okay.
Hello, I'm Stephen Carver, and I go by the name of Saberspark on YouTube. For the sake of transparency, I will be on camera for this video.
Whoa.
I also have some notes over here I will be referencing for this response. Now, some of you may have seen the recent 2-hour video by the YouTuber I Live Kim Possible a lot.
Also about the Black Griffin stuff, I haven't looked into that fully, so I'm not going to comment on that. Not my place to, since I'm not educated on it. All I know is that Black Griffin is a fucking loser, and I think he smells like shit.
Putting aside what it was, which we'll talk about here in a moment, this video included her making some significant and sweeping accusations involving me. Most of the comments I saw on the original upload indicated that many people saw this video for what it was. Clout chasing.
50%. Okay.
And it threw out very severe allegations in a really callous and reckless way. I appreciate that people out there are willing to question such things, and more importantly, share my sentiment that this is not the way things should be done. What was said was untrue, and it's disappointing to see people trying to build themselves up by tearing others down. With that in mind,
he kind of looks like a sad puppy. I know this is like a serious allegation. Anybody would be depressed, but like I can't stop looking at his eyes and just thinking about how like depressed he is.
This is my response to recent allegations against me.
This is the guy who was on fucking Brony Reacts like years ago, showing love and joy and cheer in those eyes. And now look at him, look at him, look at him, look what you've done to this man, this poor little man.
And the YouTuber I Live Kim Possible.
I don't know if he's a rapist or not.
Before I begin, I want to give a content warning for the following things on screen. Folks, this is a very serious video, so please continue watching it at your own discretion. To be clear, the accusation that I sexually assaulted someone is completely false, and I feel disgusted that I even have to say that. I've had sexual partners before.
I think I've watched this already. I don't think he goes in depth about anything. I'm pretty sure he can't due to like legal reasons if he actually is going to be like, you know, pursuing the legal route in regards to suing Kim Possible and possibly the victim.
We've always
I don't
abided by enthusiastic and reciprocated consent.
Which, like, speaking of legal shit, in reality, I feel like the victim, right, should have taken that route instead of, I don't know, running to the fucking internet, running to I Love Kim Possible, of all people, to platform a fucking rape allegation rather than, you know, choosing the legal route. But I already went into detail about that.
The actual reality of the situation appears to be the result of what I believe to be a hit piece. From what I've seen, it seems that KP and a person by the username of Brony Fandom were working together to push this.
Because, like, I'll say for any victim, unless you genuinely can't take the legal option, I don't think you should be going around to fucking My Little Pony YouTubers with your rape story to try and get your word out there. But that's just me, okay? It just makes shit messy.
And I have evidence.
Especially on the Brony side of YouTube, they're all known for being fucking idiots. So I don't know why we would run to a fucking pony tuber of all people, anyways. But what do I know?
To prove that. But more than that, what KP's video actually does is extremely dangerous. It hurts those who are truly victims out there, And this
The alleged victim's identity is now public, and it's interesting. Yeah, the mom before prom person
is
from
not how
Dr.
you do
Phil.
things when it comes to people's lives.
I'm not going to use that to, like, I guess, judge her character or whatever, right? But at the same time, it is kind of interesting how she has such a bad internet footprint. What is it called? What is her fucking name? Like, Emmy? Okay, hello?
Evil stuff going on.
Thank you for that. Thanks. It's very evil. What is her name? Like Emmy Emiru or some shit like that? If you look her name up and look up drama, there's like quite a bit of shit. What's her fucking username called again? The person who had the affect with the Sonic VA, the knocking is scaring the shit. Emmy Emu. Okay, hold on. Emmy Emu drama. Come on. Where is it? Like this shit. I don't know what's going on with that. I'll probably have to take a look at it later, but I find that interesting. She has
the following section will be about I Love Kim Possible a lot, my
Basically,
history
is what
with
I'm trying
her,
to get at.
and what appears to be her
I'm playing some
attempt
fucking
to
background
falsely
music. This
accuse
is
me
like
for her
200
own
simulator.
game. To make it easy, I will be referring to her as KP for the remainder of this video. I met KP in 2014. We lived in the same state and eventually became friends. This was mainly because we shared common interests, as we were both part of the Birdie fandom and were both YouTubers as well. She came to me asking for advice on her videos and connections to go to conventions. At the end of 2014, I started a new job and entered a new
Holy shit, dude. Whoa.
relationship with
I
someone.
have nothing to say on this. I
For the
feel
next
kind of
5
retarded.
months, I was extremely busy. KP would occasionally reach out to me, but I did not have time to hang with her. It was nothing personal, and we naturally drifted apart. 8 years pass, and in August of 2023, a friend of mine messaged me on KP's behalf. He told me that according to KP,
Thank you. Just a heads up, and I don't have much of the details here, but I figured I'd pass it. What the fuck is that? What is that notification? Is that like the chat thing or something? Anyways, KP hit me up saying that like aficionada Chris did like some stupid shit or something about like flexing, telling stories about how he jerked off with her panties at a con a few years back or something. I don't know all the details, and frankly, I don't want to, but she's gonna reach out to everyone that he works for and try to give them a few days to distance themselves before putting him on blast, just so you're aware that it's on its way. No idea what'll actually go down, but there you go.
one of the editors on my team allegedly did
You sent me something? Okay, hold on. Because it was made public via Beckett saying it on stream. This is the alleged victim. Oh, yeah, that whole stuff. Okay. Thought this was pretty clear, but I got asked if I was defending KP last night on Rouse stream. KP is right about how I know the person in the... how I know who the question in person is, but they put their name on the Dropbox file. That info didn't come from KP. Obviously, KP's actions in this drama are crazy. Okay.
something inappropriate to her back in 2015. I immediately addressed this with my editor, and he told me that the matter was settled between him and KP. I took his word on that and assumed that KP would reach out to me directly if that was not the case. On November 12th, 2024, KP made a tweet where she was upset that Chris was still working on my projects. She then posted, video coming soon.
How do I fucking turn it off, dude? How do I fucking turn it off? How do I turn it off? How do I turn it off?
January 6, 2025, KP emailed me demanding I take action due to Chris and what she claimed he did nearly 10 years ago due to a leaked.
Here's my question, though. Whether or not a person makes a sexual joke around you, okay, you can't hear it, Perry. There's like some little fucking notification sound. I don't know what it is.
Chris
I don't know
and
how
KP,
to turn it off.
they
I'm
recall
fucking autistic and shit. I don't know where it is, where it's coming from, what to do about it. Disable it from your fucking... Dad. How the fuck do I turn it off? Fuck. Disable it from your OBS overlay. I'm trying. I'm fucking trying, dude. I can't find it. You know what? I'm just gonna ignore it. I'll find it. It's your notification sound. I'm fucking trying. Hold on. Maybe like that? Okay, I muted the sound. Okay, are we back? Okay. Okay.
The full story. Chris made a sex joke in regards to KP. And she found out about it many years later. What shocked me was when I was informed, this call was recorded without Chris's knowledge or consent. Chris profusely begged
No,
for
'cause now
forgiveness
it's
at the
just-
end
what
of the
fuck?
call.
Thank you for the $2.
And it looked like both KP and Chris
Throws
ended
money at you
on
when you're
amicable
drinking
terms, which matches what I was told by Chris when I initially confronted him about the
Thanks for the
situation.
sub.
Yeah, Chris, you want to say anything?
I guess I'd go first, yeah.
Go for it.
All right. Well, first, I think it's the obvious thing is one, just want to profusely apologize for that terrible fucking thing I did.
Mm-hmm.
And that
Oh shit!
God.
Hi, March baby. Hi, March baby.
was an absolute horrible
Hi, March
person
baby.
so many years ago. And you didn't deserve that. So,
Genuinely, it's just a fucking joke. I understand that you might be uncomfortable by a guy talking about jerking off into your panties and like falling into them or some shit like that. But at the same time, number one, that joke was like 10 years ago. Number two, it's a fucking joke. Yeah, you can be uncomfortable, whatever, but don't fucking like get your panties in a twist, all right? Over some stupid shit like that. As much as I hate to say it because, you know, I absolutely fucking hate men, right? No, I don't. But men will make locker room fucking jokes like that. That's how men are. They say weird shit because they're horny men. It happens. It's not as deep as you think it is. You're allowed to be uncomfortable.
So
You're allowed to be
I
uncomfortable.
don't really have anything
but at the
else
same
that
time,
I feel
it's just
comfortable
like,
saying
come
at this
on.
point, but
Come on.
you know,
It's
I
not
just
like you got sexually
obviously with
assaulted. Come on.
good luck and may God have mercy on your soul. And you know,
And also, yeah, Pocket. He didn't even fucking say the joke around her, so it's
This
just
too
like,
shall
oh no, he said a joke with his fucking buddies behind your back. Oh my god, blah blah blah. From my memory, it was addressed 3 years ago. Whoa, crazy.
okay, all those
I
things.
love holding
again.
on to things for
Okay.
fucking years, despite
Thank
them
you.
not being serious
All
at
right.
all.
Well, have a good
Ah!
night. I think this is. I'm gonna limit my communication with you for obvious reasons, but
no,
I'll
that's perfectly reasonable, and I understand.
Would any of you guys accuse me of like sexual abuse if I talked about jerking off onto your forehead like 5 years ago or something behind your back? Like not even to your face, just like with my buddies talking about, yeah, I want to like come on her forehead or some shit. That'd be funny. Or his. Or its. I don't know what pronouns y'all use.
In
okay?
addition,
Y'all are a bunch of
after
fucking
listening to
its
this
me.
call,
But fucking hell.
it appears KP was asking Chris intrusive questions in order to find more information about me.
So, as far as your relationship with Saber, like, is it like just so I know, is it something? Are you guys like friendly, or is he just giving you kind of contract work and that's it?
I mean, I guess you could say it's both, but I don't have like long conversations with him because he's so busy. The
Okay.
most I ever see him
New
is at
heat and stuff?
conventions
Oh,
if
shit.
he happens
Hell
to be
yeah.
at the same one.
What is it? Tell me.
Okay, so you know
I
you're not
fucking
in an
hate
environment
that bitch.
where
That
this
bitch is
would
a fucking whore. I
have
hate
come up
Heaton.
anyway.
Never.
So he would probably be unaware.
Never. He's
Don't
100%
make jokes
unaware.
like that.
Like again, I can't
Sorry.
stress enough is that in the times I ever told the story, it was as you described it, locker room talk with a very small amount of people in a private call. I never told it publicly, and I never ever told it to
Okay.
anyone like
You're in it to your
Saberspark.
forehead.
As far as Chris
Okay. Thank you for the $1.99. Love that.
goes,
Jerking it
we
to my
took the
fucking
situation
forehead.
seriously from the very
Do you wanna,
beginning.
like,
The joke was inappropriate, but it was told
Maybe
nearly
this was a
10 years
mistake.
ago. He profusely apologized to me as well and admitted to his faults. I believe in the inner growth of a person and that they
Also, it's a fucking joke. It's not like he's a pedophile who went out and raped like 5 fucking children. She's treating it as if it's like that, when it's really not like that. It's not that deep. It's not that serious. Oh my god. Oh my god. Someone made a gross joke about you. You're allowed to be uncomfortable. Not saying you're not supposed to be uncomfortable by that. But at the same time, it's like, dude, why are you so fucking, like, hooked over it? Like,
can change for the
it's
better.
been fucking years.
He did good work for the team. I was surprised, though, that KP thought she had the ability to dictate who I hire and fire for my own team. On February 5th, 2025,
Also, why get fucking fired over talking about jerking off into somebody's panties as like a
KP
joke or
emailed me
something?
again,
Like, come on.
but this time with false allegations. She claimed that I had, quote, jerked around my employee
Jerked around your employees and generally treated them with very little consideration. Who the fuck is
and
telling you
generally
this shit?
treated them with very little consideration. She also claimed that I was, quote, hosting polygamous relationships with fangirls.
What? On top of your treatment of me when you were romantically and sexually interested in me, which I'm happy to elaborate on. Oh, so they were like a fucking thing? Were they jerking each other off or something? Combined with your inquiries of hosting polygamy relationships with fangirls to employees is misogynistic, inappropriate, and disrespectful. Is there any fucking, like, evidence of that or what?
Which is as
Can
ridiculous
we get slightly jaunty or
as it
twisty? You know what?
sounds.
Hold on. Hold on. Let me look something up. Hold on. Anyways.
On February 25th, 2025, KP sent her final email to me. In it, she said, quote, "To add on to this, I will fight you for the truth. Tone, your whole last email and the Twitter thread is drenched in, undermines the actual issues of the conversation, on top of assuming I'm going to publish falsifiable information." End quote. However, incorrect information and hearsay was included within the release video. She also stated that the reason she messaged my members of my team instead of contacting me directly was that I, quote, "triggered the shit out of her." And at the end of the email, she told me to never.
I will say I do find it funny how, like, Saber has all these receipts and shit to back up his claims about KP potentially being malicious and shit like that, but KP doesn't even have a single receipt to show that Saberspark is, like, a horrible fucking person in regards to the rape shit, right? It's just fucking stupid. Ace made those jokes at me. Google document coming soon. Okay, great. Ace is a known rapist, alright? Everybody fucking hates that dude.
Contact her again. And following
but,
that
she basically got raped by fucking Saber. This is amazing.
request, I never contacted her again. At this point, I was bracing myself for a hit piece video from KP, but I never imagined
Which, like, by the way, I'm not gonna say that, like, the victim was or wasn't raped, alright? Not my place, alright? Not my place. I will say, Kim Possible is getting raped, though, by Saber. She might want to make a statement of her own about this. This is concerning.
She would use false sexual assault allegations against me. I also noticed this particular Twitter exchange the day following KP.
It's the guy who tried to kill himself over this. Didn't he get, like, outed for being into underage furry porn?
His final email to me.
She's also threatening the victim. That's
Leading
great.
up to the release of KP's video, she was telegraphing her intentions and who they were against. She advertised a video schedule, a watch party, a YouTube premiere, and a slew of other posts in order to build up hype for her expose. Bernie fandom was involved too, foreshadowing the release of the video on their Twitter lead.
Yeah, apparently this person tried to kill themselves on Twitch over, like, the whole Saberspark drama.
Leading up to the release.
Why was she hyping it up? I don't know. Guys, rape story coming soon. Big shit. Guys, watch party for the fucking pedophile rapist story. Oh my god. Like, dude, come on. That's so fucking stupid.
According to KP,
guys, at 10 p.m. we're gonna be uploading a video about a rapist pedophile. Tune in, guys. Big stuff. Grab your popcorn buckets. Grab a soda. Grab a slushie. Like, dude,
the
come on.
anonymous
Rape review. Dude, he's like, who the fuck was it? Was it Lyrics who did the rape review?
story would be posted on Twitter by Bernie fandom at 10 a.m. with her video premiere about my fault.
KP did not threaten the victim. Okay, the voice message is in the thread I
False
sent.
allegations.
Okay, cool.
2
Hold on.
hours later.
From my understanding, you shared a Dropbox file with Lazy, and your fucking name was on it. I don't know if you're aware of that, but that's direct confirmation. So I'm at the point
Rape
where
allegation
my
watch party. Woo!
reputation is on the line because of you. And I feel like an idiot because of you. And you can help me clean up this mess and get in a call and tell your side of the story, or this is going to blow up in your face. Because people have already figured out it's you based on that mistake. And I'm fucking tired because the things that have been pointed out to me is that you have your own platform.
Okay. I'm sorry. I'm trying to I'm trying to take this shit seriously, but what the fuck am I listening to? The Jolly Roving Tar by the Irish Rovers.
You know, people you knew going in. And I'm fucking tired because the things that have been pointed out to me is that you have your own platform. You know, people you knew going in that people were gonna figure it out. Maybe not this quickly, maybe not by your own mistake, but they did. And you can be an adult and help me clean up this mess, or you can be a coward. I'm not yelling at you. I'm not telling you what to do. But you have put me, you've put people that are in the video in a very difficult and dangerous position.
Why the fuck?
And I don't think you really understand that.
Irish music wape allegations.
And so I'm at,
Amazing.
I'm
Thank
at
you,
the
Cal.
point where I talk to this guy Beckett, and he says that you have the chance right now to tell your side of the story in a call with me or with Lazy.
So it doesn't sound like she's, I'm gonna agree with Yen on this, alright? It doesn't sound like she's threatening the victim at all. It's more like, hey, you fucked up. I fucked up. Help me clean up this fucking mess. I don't like KP. I still think she's a fucking idiot, and the way she handles shit is idiotic as well. I'm not gonna claim to be a fucking savior. Nobody sends a voice note like this and threatens for no reason. Yeah, I could see as to why you would speculate on how this kind of leans towards the idea of potentially the allegations being fake and the story being fake, but at the same time, not for us to dictate, right? But I will say it is pretty fucking suspicious. Also, the whole, you're gonna get in here and you're gonna clean up the mess that you caused. It's just like, I get it. You guys are like, you know, kind of equally at fault, right? But at the same time, you kind of started the mess by not looking further into the allegations before platforming them. Not looking for further evidence to support your fucking claims and her claims. Like, come on. She says you have 24 hours to do it. Oh my god. Can you summarize the Saberspark allegations? I never looked into them. Okay. Saberspark being accused of raping a girl at a 2012 and 2013 con through coerced consent, despite her, you know, going with whatever they were doing willingly and not, like, you know, showing any signs of pushback or, no, I don't want to do this, or, you know, giving express, you know, like, what is it? Saying no, basically. Beckett is doing a video that will explain all, it would seem. Yeah. Basically, he's being accused of raping a girl, even though she didn't say no. She didn't show any signs of, like, not wanting to do it, apparently. The person that he allegedly raped ran to some, like, fucking, like, My Little Pony commentary YouTuber called I Love Kim Possible a Lot, who used to be on Brony Reacts and a bunch of other shit. She didn't look into the testimony for more evidence or anything before platforming the rape allegations, and now she's getting raped. There you go. Beckett's doing a lot of KP sweeping. Listen, I'm not gonna call him a sweeper until I see the video, alright? I believe in Beckett. I believe in the ginger, alright? She's my favorite Brit, favorite ginger, even though I don't like those two minority groups at all.
Or with him,
so
or
I
with
have faith in him,
someone,
all right?
or people are going to villainize you.
I'm not gonna dog on him until I see his video.
And that's where we're at. And none of, like, the things that have been pointed out to me doesn't make any sense. The timeline is questionable.
I'm not a ginger.
The only people
What the
that
fuck are you
vouched
on
for you
about?
were Brony and Amy and Sophie, and Amy won't even fucking
sorry,
talk
Yen.
to me.
Can you do an Irish
So
jig into the
I'm
camera
not telling
while
you what to
listening?
do,
Maybe
but
for
I'm
money.
being real with you. It's fucked. You're fucked one way or the other.
It looks like I have
So-
ginger DNA.
Make a decision soon, or I will
How
publicly
the fuck do
confirm
I
it was
look
you.
like a ginger?
You have 24 hours.
It's hair. Is it because it's curly? I don't fucking get it. I don't get it. Makes me wonder, were there any logs or anything to back this up? So the victim claimed that they had Skype logs, but they can't be found because they got deleted. So that's great. Thanks for the $1.99. Dance for me,
Dance
peasant.
for me, peasant.
I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. I want to do that. I don't want to do that. I don't even. Okay, hold on. Hold on. Something's like cooking, okay? Something's cooking. Hold on. Something's cooking. Give me a second. 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 Give me a. Ow! Fuck. Okay. Hold on. Ow. How the fuck do you do an Irish jig? Genuinely don't know how. There's like no space either. What am I supposed to do? Fucking like click my heels? What the fuck do I do? Or something? I don't fucking know. I'm not doing that. $2. That's all you're getting. I'm not doing a fucking jig. Thanks for the $2
From
though.
my understanding,
Okay, back to the video, back to the video, back to the video.
What was to follow would be a video that was not just tone deaf, but dangerously reckless with the lives of
I'm not gonna
others.
be a leprechaun.
KP has gone on record saying that the video was originally intended for DA Games, but included
Listen,
me
I don't know
and the
how to do one.
allegations
Most
a
of the
month
video was
prior
done
to the
before the
release
Saber
of the
essay
upload.
victim.
The video itself was
I will say, if you're trying to platform a sexual assault or abuse allegation towards someone, I feel like it's kind of unfair to just slap that in with an allegation against fucking DA Games. Maybe, just maybe, you should make your own separate video for that fucking assault allegation so you can go in depth more about it. And plus, it feels like she kind of just rushed that shit. She just slapped it in there, right? And it's like, why would you do that? Especially if the only evidence available and the only evidence your victim can even fucking provide is just testimony that you can't even really prove. Now, come on.
titled What Ruined Saberspark.
And here's the thing. We do have photos of the victim, the alleged victim, at the 2012 and 2013 cons, right? But the thing is like, I could take a picture at a con and then fabricate an entire story and be like, yeah, you see how I was in this photo with this guy? He raped me. And it could have not happened. And I'm not saying that's what did happen or what didn't happen, all right? I'm just saying that's how easy it is to, like, fabricate some shit like this. And the fact that KP sat there and took it at face value without actually digging and claims that, oh, I have evidence, I have evidence, I have evidence. Where the fuck was the evidence in the video, bitch? What are you talking
in
about?
DA Games and was over 2 hours
Like,
long.
come on.
It was primarily advertised as breaking the news of my false allegations, but the section in question was only 5 minutes and 40 seconds long. According to this interview with KP hosted by Slug Entertainment 2, uploaded on May 5th, 2025, KP admits that the story she featured was purely hearsay and had no substantiated evidence.
So, just to be as objective as possible here, so what you're saying is that basically the evidence that you were given was more personal circumstance and hearsay rather
Correct.
than like
Correct.
objective.
This person said that that person raped them. Okay, that's cool. In real life, it works different in real life than it works online. In real life, a lot of people can be like, yeah, I was raped by this person. It doesn't really go anywhere. Online, however, that shit spreads like wildfire, especially when you're talking about a fucking content creator. You have to take things more seriously before you spread them on the fucking internet. Like, please.
Give
You
evidence.
gotta think about shit, bro.
correct.
I don't have evidence. I don't have evidence. Why'd you fucking platform it then?
They didn't have any Skype logs or anything because of how long it was ago, and we did ask. So
Were there other people that went in to verify these claims?
Here's the thing. I understand wanting to, help spread a victim's voice, help spread their narrative and shit like that, and let them their voice be heard or whatever, right? But the thing is, you can't just take pure testimony without any other evidence, any other backing, any other substance like that, and spread it about a fucking content creator, because a lot of people are gonna eat that shit up, and whether it's real or not, it's still gonna cause a bunch of fucking harm, and that's gonna be detrimental to both parties, because number one, you don't have any evidence to back it up. You're making other fucking victims kind of look like a joke in a way, in which you're like, oh yeah, this person raped me, haha, but I'm not gonna give you any evidence, which is gonna cause other people to speculate. Whatever, dude, fuck me.
Claims,
I'm
or
not going
were
into
there
that.
other
It's
attempts to
just
verify
retarded.
the claims being made?
not to
I'm
my
losing my
knowledge.
fucking grip, dude.
I believe I don't know the history of Bonk's relationship with the victim itself. I don't know to what extent he knew about everything before the statement was prepared. But I do know that Amy was vouching for them, and that was also because I knew Amy was on or has been on the convention scenes. That's how she met. Peter knew her husband.
The video would be unlisted and eventually removed from KP's channel the same day of its premiere, following a massive
By
public
the way, speaking of KP removing it, I love how she was getting all mad about how people were raping her video. They're like, I took the video down. I took the video down. Or was it fucking Brony Fondant, whatever his name is? They were basically one of them, blah, blah, blah. One of them was talking about how, well, the video wasn't up for more than a few hours. So realistically, I don't understand how you guys are saying that it has a negative impact on Saberspark or victim stories. We already fixed it by taking it down. And it's like, dude, there were still thousands of people who fucking saw that video before it got taken down. Doesn't matter.
backlash against it. Apparently,
And
based
still,
on
the fact that you, as an adult woman, would platform allegations without any fucking substance is just insane.
comments in the video, a number of the assets included and voiceover actors involved were allegedly
This is actually $5 trillion in our country, and you should do a little dance for the donator before me.
What the fuck is CZK? What is that? Do I have to do a little chick? How do I do this? Okay. Okay. Bro, this is like fucked up. What do I do? What do I fucking do? What do I do? Hold on. Hold on. I gotta like move my chair, bro. Do your dance, do your I don't fucking dance. I don't dance. And everything is fucking falling around. What do I do? Okay. Hold on. What do the Irish do? They do the little or some shit. I can't. Put your arms at your sides and click your heels together. Okay, hold on. Let me like get my little dance floor for fucking This is on How do I do this? Hey guys. I don't know how to fucking do this. This is evil. Okay, that's enough of that. I'm not doing any more of that. Oh, that's fucking evil. That's fucking evil. Thank you for the money. Thank you for the money. Oh my god. Ireland fucking wins, dude. Okay. Okay. Oh, fuck. Okay.
not informed of the nature of the video being made, or had their work used without permission for video B-roll and memes. On Twitter, I was ridiculed, with many people calling me a predator. This was due to the initial sensationalized traction of Bernie Fandom's post. But then the post itself began to receive pushback due to public scrutiny over the alleged claims. Following KP's video, Bernie Fandom began to backpedal, claiming that they never watched the video prior to promoting KP's upload. Bernie Fando would eventually throw KP under the bus in order to distance themselves from her videos.
Oh god. I find it so funny. I fucking find this shit so funny. Brony was like hyping this shit up too, right? And then this motherfucker is all like, Kim Possible is a fucking stain. They're a little shit stain. Like, dude, come on. You were the one hyping it up. You were the one who also helped platform it. Did you fucking watch, like, any of the video before you fucking advertised it? How can you, like, post it on your platform and post everything in regards to, like, KP and the Saber shit being true, and then all of a sudden be like, Kim Possible is actually a shit stain, and I no longer associate with them. I don't cover trauma. I cover serious, worst of humanity problems. Predators, bigots, people who support them. Like, fucking hell. The reaction to KP's video kind of pissed me off. People were more concerned that she was using memes than the fact that she was platforming baseless accusations against someone. Yeah, well, I think the reason why people focused on the memes was because it was, okay. People weren't taking it as seriously because of the way she formatted the fucking video. I'm so fucking congested, bro.
Backlash a few days later.
But yeah.
So, what does this mean? As far as Bernie Fandom goes, one of two things seem to be true. Either one, they watched the video, approved it, advertised it, and now they're backpedaling because it did not go the way they wanted it to. Or two, they never watched the video in the first place, yet they still endorsed it. Either option is reckless, irresponsible, and speaks to a greater problem. By KP's own admissions, she does not like me, and I believe she holds a grudge against me after we had a falling out. Slug Entertainment's interview with her seems to demonstrate her malicious intent. And from the
I mean, if she fucking held that shit over Chris's head, then I wouldn't be surprised that her fallout with you, she'd probably still hold on to as well, and, like, you know, run with that as a drive for the fucking
context of her
allegations
video,
as well.
it
instead of
looks like it
looking
was
into
done
them.
with a desire to use this
A lot
drama
of people,
to
when
boost
they
her
don't
channel's
like someone
popularity.
and they hear something bad, they'll just run with their personal bias and whatever fucking claims being made against the person they don't like, regardless of the amount of available evidence regarding the claim. And they'll just fucking run with it because it's like, well, I don't like this guy and this person says they're bad, so that must mean it's true because my gut says that they're bad, so blah, 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 blah. Like, fuck off.
It was a hit piece, plain and
That shit
simple.
happens in this
Though she
community a lot,
denies
too. They're
having
like,
a
"Oh, this
vendetta
person
against
said that.
me.
You're a rapist,
If you were
or you support
to
this, or you
say
support that. So that must mean it's true
that
because
this
I already
is
don't
something
like
that
you."
needs to be
Like, okay,
taken
bitch.
with the utmost seriousness,
We're about to
despite
look over the
no
Birdie stuff,
evidence.
Don't worry.
Would you believe that it would be fair for people to disregard it entirely due to the lack of actual evidence?
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Okay. I wanted to at least ask that, given the fact that these are serious allegations that can get
I'll be right back.
Saber killed, because people
Yeah.
are crazy, and I'd rather not have someone get killed over an allegation that has not been proven beyond a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah, that's fair.
At this point in the video, I want to talk about the Twitter account Birdie Fandom. This Twitter account has been purposely targeting me for a while now. By their own words, they believe that internet justice is
so
more
fucking sweaty.
effective than courtroom
Oh my
justice.
God.
They seem to see themselves as judge, jury, and
Hold on,
executioner,
Hassan.
and launch vicious harassment
What does
campaigns
Hassan
against
do? I don't know
multiple
shit about
online
Hassan other
creators,
than he's a
such as
fucking
Billy
weirdo.
Bustup, Prince
And I don't
Whatever,
like him.
and Black
he
Griffin.
talked about getting like what?
Birdie Fandom has on multiple occasions
Interviewed by,
used
like,
falsifiable
security
information
at the French
to
borders or
attack
some
people
shit?
with.
I don't even remember.
According to KP's post, Birdie Fandom was in her
He looks
Discord
like Ryan
server.
Reynolds of,
And
like,
according to this
commentary.
person, they were
They're, like,
allegedly
fucked up and
friends.
evil.
On May 1st, 2025, Birdie Fandom shared KP's false allegations against me. After public backlash for their post, Birdie Fandom was constantly arguing with people in the replies. Some people asked if he suggested professional organizations to the
You should have contacted Rain. Dumbass, I don't even know who that is. Why would I have reached out to someone I didn't know existed? Not who is Rain. What is Rain? You
victim
fucking idiot,
prior to
Dick.
reaching out to KP, and he said no. Many were inquiring about Rain, and he had no
Oh my
idea
God.
what that was. At the time of
does not
recording this
matter.
video, the post is still up on Twitter and has not been corrected, despite being false and unsubstantiated. Finally, I want to bring up Sophie Scruggs. She
Stop defending Black Griffin, you stupid fuck. I still don't know anything about I don't know anything much about Black Griffin. So I'm not commenting on that. If y'all want to fill me in and like point shit out in the live, you can.
is a
but I
comic
haven't
artist for
looked at it,
IDW
so I
and is
can't
on
comment that.
record sharing the Birdie Fandom account. She was friends with KP prior to the premiere of the video and
fuck is
even
that?
collaborated on other drama videos with her. She even makes an appearance in said video and talks to both KP and Courtney Pete.
Oh, God,
I
it's so
believe that Sophie's
fucking
involvement with the Birdie Fandom account is concerning
detained
and
in
irresponsible.
Chicago.
She seems to be
Okay.
more of a facilitator of moving parts and frequently replies to the account with her own main accounts. At the very least, we can confirm that she shares the account and has essentially co-signed what it posts. At this point, I want to talk about the state of Twitter, but mainly the internet as a whole. I have been on Twitter since 2012, but in early 2020, I noticed that the culture of the website had begun to change. It was more combative and antagonistic,
There's
and the
more
website
liberals.
started to reward that kind of engagement. There has been an ongoing weaponization of online vigilantism. People who adopt a shoot first and ask questions later mentality in the quest to make a
I will say, one thing that I find retarded about the internet is they're always like, you know how there's this whole thing where it's innocent until proven guilty? A lot of these motherfuckers think it's guilty until proven innocent because believe all victims. Yeah, cool, you can believe all victims, but don't go out of your fucking way to label someone. Oh my god, I can't fucking speak. The fucking caffeine's getting me. Okay. Believe all victims. That's a good mindset to have, right? Cool, right? Right? But when it comes to allegations and shit like this, especially online, you can't just go around and label somebody a fucking rapist if you don't know for sure whether or not they actually are what you're saying they are. Just because somebody says somebody is something doesn't mean that that's actually, like, proven that that person is what you say they are. think I'm just being autistic and I can't speak. Holy shit. Guilty until proven innocent is the most corrupt way of thinking too, since you can't prove a negative. It kind of reminds me of the fucking like Salem witch trials in a way. I could be like, this person is a rapist, kill him, and everybody beats the shit up out of the guy, right? And then a few months later, turns out the guy didn't actually do what you're accusing him of doing. So then where do you go from there? You've got two problems now. A false allegation and you just assaulted somebody. Like, come on. It doesn't make sense. And also, like, I get, you know, like, victim stories and shit like that. People want to have their story heard. They want to be believed and shit like that. And, like, you know, it's, like, really, really cruel to, you know, be like, oh, you're a fucking liar when you're trying to come out about your rape and shit like that. I get that, right? But you can't just, like, go around making claims about people without fucking evidence. And even then, you still have to wait to hear the other person's side. Like, you can't just fucking... Oh my god, whatever,
for themselves without doing their due diligence.
Evidence you can't take to court because it's all online.
They would prefer to try to shape the world for what they believe the problem is, rather than actually assisting in the solution. This whole situation is a perfect example of how unqualified strangers can shoehorn their way into extremely delicate situations. Bad faith actors are rewarded for their digital tabloids and hit pieces. Without the right checks and balances.
Also, in regards to the whole believe all victims, I feel like the best route to take in that shit like that. Why did I just see you dance like a pirate? Hi, Ace. I don't want to talk about it, okay? I really don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. There's a difference between I am a victim and this exact person did this to me. Get him. Yeah. But like I was trying to say, it's important to hear victims and their stories, but at the same time, I feel like you should remain neutral until the person who's being accused of the sex crime comes out about their side. Or better yet, don't bring your allegations to the internet unless you realize that, you know, the legal route ain't fucking working. Because that just makes shit messy. And also bringing your allegations to the internet in general rather than taking it to court or going some other, like, legal route with it, right? Usually fucks up actual cases. Or at least down the line it could. Whatever.
One says people can destroy lives with a single misinformed tweet. These aren't individuals who care about the well-being of victims.
Watch the lazy bedhead video, it's pretty good at explaining everything.
Okay, I'll have to watch that on another stream. Or maybe when I get home tonight, I don't know. We'll see, But I'll know
only
that.
engagement and exploitative content. It is
Thank you for the Danish 50.
important to allow legitimate victims to come forward and be heard, but the way the situation was handled was incredibly irresponsible and dangerous. This entire ordeal has been the worst moment of my entire life, and it has done severe damage to me and my family. In regards to my channel, we have lost nearly tens of thousands of subscribers since the release of their video. And that is with the majority of people watching her video, calling it out for its inaccuracies and its failures. There are independent projects, which I supported in good faith, and made genuine connections with people that have now been ruined because of these false allegations. And I believe that was the overall goal of this calculated attack against my character. Listen, I know that the internet likes to make fun of me.
Also, I know that he probably legally cannot go into, like, you know, detail about the alleged assault that happened, right? But I'm honestly kind of curious about his side about it, about, like, you know, did he realize that she was uncomfortable? Did she ever say no? Did she say yes? Was she enthusiastic? Like, what was his perspective whenever they were doing the do, or at least, you know, doing stuff that led up to it? And also, what was their relationship like in general? Because I was told that, you know, they were fucking friends and shit like that. I just want to know what their dynamic was. I want to know what he felt like, what he, you know, viewed things. Yeah, I can't fucking speak. Fuck me. Basically, I want to understand what he understood when they were doing the do. Like, did he recognize anything was off with her? Like, come on.
Call me cringe, make fun of my videos, and I am totally
because if she
okay with
didn't
that.
say
You can
no
make fun
or
of
show
me.
any signs of
But
protest,
I draw
then in his
the
mind he'd be
line
like, okay,
at
this chick wanna bang.
I love making videos,
And then they fuck.
and I've been doing it professionally since 2015.
Like, did he recognize that
I have a
anything was
family
off?
and coworkers who
Did he
depend on
recognize
me.
that, hey,
I
maybe
want
she
to
didn't
take
want to
care
do
of
this?
them. I'm not the only one who
We
has been
need
affected
details.
by these
Or at least I
malicious
fucking do. I want to know the
allegations.
details.
And while I am disillusioned by these traumatic events, I am also actively exploring legal remedies in light of these false allegations to hold these people accountable for their lies and actions.
Maybe
But there
getting
is
slandered.
far more beyond
Do we
just
even know
me
if they
here.
fucked? I don't know.
Despite the damage against my livelihood and my
He doesn't
reputation,
go into
I am
detail about
far
it.
more concerned about the reckless nature of internet justice. When people
Could you do another silly dance? It's my vital organ, I die without it.
Okay. Thanks, buddy. I guess I'll do that. Fucking hell. I might have POTS. That kind of made me pretty fucking dizzy. I'm not gonna lie. Okay. 1 second. One second. 1 second. One second. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
will take justice into their own hands for the sake of engagement, clicks, and views, people can get hurt and it can destroy lives. There are consequences for those actions, and we have to take these matters seriously or more people will get hurt.
gonna fucking kill
There are
myself. I hate all
actual
of you, Dad.
victims
My
of
audience
sexual
is
assault
awful.
in the world,
Just kidding.
and
I
stuff
love you
like
guys.
this detracts from those
I
who
love you
really
guys.
need
Oh.
the help. If you are a victim of sexual assault, there are tools you can use. File a police report. Creating a report is at least a starting point and
I
creates
know a lot of people are gonna like shit on this guy for being like, why are you like talking about filing and shit like that? You have rape allegations against you, but he does have a point. He does have a point, okay? Just because he's saying it doesn't mean it's not true. If you do have like sexual assault allegations against somebody, you should probably go the legal route rather than immediately posting it online because, like I said, that could potentially ruin your future. Okay, I'm out of breath. Okay, this fucking caffeine, dude. There's something up with it. Anyways, yeah, go to the cops. Go to the cops because if you post all of your evidence all over the internet, that could muddy the waters and make a court case harder for you to actually obtain. Logic. No, yeah, he has a massive point. The people who made the doc had no idea what the RAIN organization even was. Exactly, like, how are you gonna be like, I advocate for all sexual assault survivors to speak up, and you don't even know what RAIN is? More autistic than my derails. You're dancing while watching a guy respond to rape. Stop. They made gifts of me? No. Oh, I'm scared.
POV, theater kid hears allegations and gets jiggy with it.
Why? Dude, why? What the fuck is this one? Okay. That's great. Thanks, friends. I love you. Okay. That's enough.
It's a paper trail that could help others. It helps you to build a record for actual professionals to use for your aid and your own recovery. If you are a victim, I highly suggest going to rain.org for additional resources and support. It is a professional organization that assists survivors.
Okay, I'm sure there's nothing else I need to listen to here. Also, I want to say one final thing, though, that this video doesn't prove that any of the allegations were actually false or true or anything, all right? He says that they aren't true. Other victim says otherwise. We don't know. That's for the court to fucking find out at this point, not us, since he says that he wants to take the legal route. Anyways, Blah, 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 blah. Oh my god, oh my god. Birdie drama, birdie drama, birdie drama, birdie drama. Everybody loves birdie drama. Don't you guys just fucking love birdie drama in the year of 2025? Don't you love Google documents about birdie drama? 57 fucking pages. Whoa. It's actually kind of hot. I'm gonna get a drink. I'll be right back. Oh, fuck. Never mind, I can't get a drink. I'm fucked. Yay! Birdie drama! Birdie drama! Wow! Doc isn't very organized, but Queen is pretty new to this. Okay. Alright. Alright. Let me turn my fucking, like, brightness down, bro. God damn. Alright, birdie drama! Birdie drama! Birdie drama! Did he do something new? I don't know. I don't know if he did. I don't know if he did or not. But this is basically just, you know how, okay, shut up. Yes, I'm locking in. So, many months ago, Queen Izzy, right? Queen Izzy was going to be doing a questions and answers video regarding Birdie and what the public had, wanted to know about Jack from her since, she knew him in real life and housed him and all that shit. This is basically the script for that video. Since she's not doing the video anymore, she decided to just go ahead and link the script. DMs, what's up? What the fuck is this? I don't know how to fucking do this! This is evil! Hold on. What the fuck is this? I don't know how to fucking do this! This is evil! Okay, thanks for that. Anyways, alright. Anyways, blah 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 blah. This was basically la 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 chalalelo chalalala chalalala. This is the script for the Birdie video that Queen was gonna be doing about Jack and blah 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 blah. Whatever. Let's get into it. Is it just Queen talking about how much Jack had shit stains in the toilet to then feed the parasocial obsessions some people had with Jack? Well, there's a little bit of like petty shit in the document from what I read already, so it's gonna kind of be funny. From what I heard, she's not doing the video because of time and just the general unawareness of how to make a proper video. Understandable. I also don't think she needs to be doing a video in general, but oh well. Anyways, important, please do not send harassment to anyone mentioned in this document. This doc is just my half opinion and half me stating about what's been going on. Hopefully we can be respectful and kind to each other. Disclaimer, extremely sensitive subjects will be mentioned here like suicide, grooming, disturbing behaviors, and more that I cannot find words to describe. Continue reading at your own risk and please care for yourselves. Great. It's too loud? I'm sorry. Okay. Is this better? Okay. Hi, I'm Queen, also known as Izzy by both Jack and Cindy, or Dorothy by others. I go by many names, and a lot of my friends have different nicknames for me, but Queen would be a good one to call me online. To keep things short and simple, this doc will answer questions from this Twitter link. I don't know where to start as there's just so much, so I decided to let people ask me questions. Hopefully this will help, although with how many questions there are, I might accidentally answer the same question twice, or I might give more context to a similar question that's asked later down the list that's just worded it differently, if that makes sense. So we'll see how this goes. Some of the info was written around December and has been updated slowly but surely till around May 4th, which is when I'm still updating some stuff. So some things might have an oversight with unupdated stuff. Hopefully I'm able to update it all, but we'll see. Oh, fucking hell. Blah, 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 blah. I'm not gonna fucking read all this shit. I don't care. Anyways, all right, we're getting into the questions, okay? Do you think Jack is watching this video and or listening? What would you have to say to him? Any personal messages? If you think Jack is reading this doc, what do you have to say to him? Any personal messages? That's a good starting question. Jack, I know there's a high chance of you reading, or at least someone reading it for you, so I'll say this. Why? Why are you doing all of this? You should have learned your lesson the first time and your consequences bit you. Instead, you keep doubling down, keep lying, manipulating, playing victim, and more. Jack, you can't blame anyone or anything. Not your BPD, not your autism, not anyone around you. Nothing. It's just you and you alone, Jack. As a grown adult, there's so much you could have done to mitigate or even prevent your abusive behavior. Even before you had the money, you could recognize your own tendencies to manipulate people and avoid doing so. You've taken time to pull back and simply go quiet during splits to avoid hurting us, but before You've taken time to pull back and simply go quiet during splits to avoid hurting us before, but slowly stopped doing that because you wanted to push those feelings on us, make sure we knew we were not enough for you and would never be good enough. With the 10K, you could do a lot more with professional help. You faced controversy before, and there should have been lessons there that kept with you. Blah, blah, blah. But rather than learning from so many people correcting you and calling you out for justified reasons, you immediately turned to calling everyone Birdie drama writers because you can't possibly be wrong. If you or anyone that's reading for him, you can keep reading. I don't care. I'm not afraid of you. I'm afraid for you, Jack. Please, let's be civil and reasonable here. Fucking Birdie archive. Okay. Is the video just going to be covering recent things that he's done? I remember there being a mention of a video of you confronting him. Is that true? And if it is, will it be mentioned or even shown? Is the doc only going to be covering recent things that he's done? Basically, I'll probably comment on the things that he's done in the past, but I don't have enough knowledge to have a deep discussion about it. Nor do I have a desire to talk or deep dive into the horrors Jack has done. I remember there being a mention of a video of you confronting him. Is that true? And if it is, will that be mentioned or ever shown in this document? I audio recorded both times I've confronted him, IRL. The first time was me driving him to a doctor's appointment on December 3rd, and we were just talking about what happened with Jane Doe and what he did wrong. And he cleared up some things. Unfortunately, that audio recording isn't the clearest, although the second time I confronted him, it was legit right before he got kicked out on December 7th. Knight has a much clearer audio recording. Okay. I'll be mentioning this second one a lot, and I'll have clips of it here and there to prove my words and whatnot. I'll never post the full audio as it has a lot of sensitive info in it, but definitely some clips here and there in this document if the links work. Okay, so like I was telling my buddies, my pals, right, there's a bunch of audio recordings and shit like that split up in this document. You're gonna be hearing Birdie talking about the little guy situation, you know, like the fucking hypersexual minor on Twitter. Okay, I worded that wrong. The minor on Twitter who Jack was engaging with, the minor who was being parasocial and posting drawings of their hypersexual Sona with Jack's hypersexual Sona, talking about how Jack was like their fucking favorite person and shit like that, and Jack kept engaging. It's just, yeah. What's wrong with Queen? I feel like she makes good points. Queen? She might have good points, but she's definitely not fucking mature at all. I don't like Queen. She tried to steal Jack's money. She stole a fucking cat. All this other bullshit. She seems kind of, I don't know. I don't fuck with her. I don't fuck with her at all. Alright, anyways. Could you give a brief timeline of what happened since the Cine drama with introductions? I'm a bit lost on who's who. That's extremely fair for not— okay, I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. I don't fucking care. I don't care. I don't care. Never mind. Never mind. I'm so fucking confused. Okay. Fucking hell. Okay, whatever. I'll read it. I'll read it. It's extremely fair for not knowing who's who. There's so much that happened. Even I'm a little confused. This little timeline I'm going to give is going to leave a lot of details out, as it's just me highlighting what I think is important to the document. Hopefully this will make sense. I'll be mainly talking about what happened with us and Jack, but there have also been interactions between my friends plus Jack from Cine. Those interactions from what Cine did to us and increased bad blood between us and my pettiness against Cine, which was part of the reason why I kept Squirt for so long. There are other reasons as well, like how I was keeping Squirt for Jack before finding out the horrible things that he did, but to keep it short and sweet before going on. Anyway, continuing, starting with introductions again, I'm Queen. I'm the one who has helped Jack since the start of this whole situation. Cindy called me on September 14th telling me that she groomed a 14-year-old. After finding out Cindy groomed a 14-year-old, I texted Jack to check up on him. Then the next day, which was Sunday on September 15th, we hung out, although I do want to say I've known Jack ever since he moved here, as I was the one who drove with Cindy to go pick him up. But that's a story for another day. I haven't fully gotten to know who Jack was as his own person until September of 2024. I only knew bits about him from Cindy talking about him at work. I've known Cindy since I started working with her around September 2023. After that hangout, I suggested that Jack could stay with me for a bit since I knew Jack wanted to leave. I also knew and hoped that Ara would be— what is this about? What the fuck is— what's going on? What the fuck is happening? Dude, I'm like brain rot. Fuck. Okay. Alrighty. Fuck. Where am I? Okay. I suggested that Jack could stay with me for a bit since I knew that Jack wanted to leave, and I also knew and hoped that Ara would be glad to help us back up because my mom doesn't like people staying over for long periods. Plus, she didn't like Jack. Oh, how fate told me why. Anyway, later that day, I went to go help Jack grab his stuff till still September 15th, and that's when we grabbed Latte, aka Squirp. Although, a little PSA, we didn't grab everything, so there were multiple runs during this whole situation. Ara has been my friend since middle school. He's also ex-friends and ex-co-workers with Cindy. That's how I met her, through work. Ara felt the need to quit because of her. He was scared that she would do something like harassment and just didn't want to deal with that. Honestly, she started to sound like a school shooter. She claimed I was the source of her every problem, and at the time she had to buy a gun. No thanks. And before Cindy got better, she dragged Ara's name in the mud. Cindy was fed lies that Ara drugged her, Kumo, when in reality he never did, and Cindy now knows it's not. Although she's technically always known, she was manipulated by Kumo and wanted to go along with whatever made her look better. It's why we should all hate Kumo. I'm just lightly joking with the sentence. Continuing on, Jack stayed with Ara for about 2 months after Jack slept over at my house for a night or two in the basement, which was connected by stairs. Jack stayed in Ara's house's guest bedroom, which is on the second floor with lots of stairs connecting them. The reason for the emphasis on stairs will come back later. Jack stayed with Ara from September to October of 2024. During this time, near the beginning of the situation around late September, Jane Doe had an extreme argument with her mom, which led her to move out from her mom. Jane Doe is another friend of mine. I've known her for about 2 years now. Jane Doe has helped with Jack a lot since the very start. For about 3 months, September, October, and November, she tried to get her best to get an apartment for both of them. Jane Doe worked 2 jobs and applied to 3 apartments during the 3-month period. And when she wasn't applying, Jane Doe was trying to save money. Jane Doe was always also staying at Ara's house during this time, roommating with Jack in the guest bedroom. To add insult to injury, Jack made her sleep on the floor while he had the bed to himself. Jack made her sleep on the floor. Jack made her sleep on the floor. Come on. How is Jack, of all people, gonna make you sleep on the fucking floor? Is he gonna be like, if you don't let me sleep in the bed, I'm gonna kill myself or some shit like that? Isn't it your house? It's your whatever. Oh, wait, no. Wait, hold on. Jane Doe was roommating with Jack in the guest bedroom at Ara's house. Okay. So he made the roommate sleep on the floor? Okay. Whatever. I couldn't get an air mattress, but I kind of wish she told me and used my room. At least I don't make someone with scoliosis sleep on the floor. I hope they go more into depth about that. Fucking hell. During the October month, Ara's mom was starting to get uncomfortable by Jack because Jack was walking around without his pants on, just his underwear. Common courtesy is gone from Jack's brain, but luckily he was still wearing a shirt. How are you gonna stay at somebody's fucking house and only walk around in a fucking shirt and underwear? You're staying at somebody's fucking house with their family members, with their mom, their dad, their siblings. Have a little fucking common decency, dude. Put some fucking pants on, bro. I know you love your basketball shorts, but like, what the fuck? This is fucking weird. Could they both not fit in the bed? Jack is pretty thin, isn't he? I don't know. I don't know how big the bed was. If it's a queen, they could have. But I don't fucking know. Okay. Thanksgiving was just next month and they needed the guest bedroom soon, and another one of my friends was okay with housing Jack. There were multiple times when he should have secured an apartment of his own. He was staying on the condition that he would be moving out in the next few weeks, like 1 or 2, but he kept shooting down apartments. I genuinely think he would have tried to stay for a year if he wasn't kicked out. He was only supposed to be there until the end of September at the latest. This other friend of mine is Julie Smith. I've known Julie since elementary and we've been through thick and thin. Continuing on, Jack moved in with them around mid-October and got kicked out on December 7th. Each month, Jack stayed with Julie. He paid about $800 for rent. The couple of reasons why Julie kicked him out was because she found out that Jack has a chance of having... Oh. Julie kicked out Jack because she found out that Jack has a chance of having CP. Plus, Jack was basically being a piece of shit roommate by complaining about how there was no food when there was, or the fact that nobody was helping him when many people did. He complains a lot. If one thing didn't go his way, he would complain. I'm concerned more about the CP allegation. What the fuck are you on about? What are you fucking on about? Is that gonna go in depth about anything, or is it just like, oh, I think he has CP? Hello?
Am I insane for thinking a lot of this didn't need airing? They act like Jack has a gun emoji
No,
to their head.
honestly, though, what the fuck? It feels like a lot of petty arguments just being brought to light and, like, plastered all over Twitter, or at least on fucking, like, Queen's side. You know that thing on Twitter where Queen was, like, constantly posting fucking Birdie updates? It was so fucking annoying. It was so annoying. Being all like, Jack bled on the bed. Here's photos, by the way. Yeah. We don't need to know that. Jack did this. Jack did that. Jack update. Jack update. Jack update. Just say you want to be relevant. I understand you feel like you're important by providing the public with information about Birdie, but at the same time, just fucking log off. Log off. Log off. You don't need to be that obsessed with fucking Birdie drama. Especially to the point that it's all your fucking Twitter has become. It's fucking crazy. Also, genuinely, like y'all are saying, what the fuck is this? Julie Smith kicked Jack out because she found out that Jack has the chance of having CP. Are they ever going to go in more detail about that? Because that's a very strong claim, which, like, me personally, knowing him, might be the image is, like, the drawn shit from when he was younger, but I'm kind of, I don't know. I'm kind of lost. I want to know more about that. Anyways, he got kicked out because there's the chance that Jack has CP. He was bitching about how there was no food when there was, and he bitched about nobody helping him when many people did. He complains a lot. If one thing didn't go his way, he would complain. After being kicked out, Jack bought a ticket for a plane ride on Sunday, the 8th, to go stay with Mary. Mary's the fake name and is just a relative of Jack. Some people know the relationship between those two, but I'm gonna try and keep it quiet for privacy reasons. I'm changing the fucking music. I can't do this. Okay. Alright, anyways. Again, there's so much that happened, and I know I missed a lot, but this is the shortened version of the timeline. What was the most... Okay, question. What was the most unsettling or annoying thing Jack has said or done? There's lots, but the main one to me is the fact that Jack isn't trying to get better and wants everyone around him to help him. Like, if somebody doesn't want to or can't help him, then he'll go behind their backs and complain. This is true. This is fucking true. Oh well, you can't help someone who doesn't want to stand and instead wants to be carried away when they're completely capable of standing on their own. By the way, this is a metaphor. Anyway, Jack has 10K, he can afford a doctor's visit, a therapist, Uber, DoorDash, food, and more. Even before the 10K went in, he had about 1,000 to 2,000 in his bank from commissions. He just didn't want to use it in save, which is understandable. It's just the fact that it was a sign to how stingy Jack can be. Although I want to say that it's okay to save money. Save money if and when you can, just learn when you can or can't use your money, if that makes sense. Anyways, continuing on. The fact that he would rather spend money on special interest hyperfixation merch, candy, and simple wants, and make those around him foot the bill for his medication, food, application fees, and driving around him was infuriating. Okay, so I know why he's doing this. Jack is not a fucking adult, alright? He may be an adult, but he's not an adult, right? He doesn't know how to take care of himself. He's been coddled, in a way, sheltered, in a way. He's never been taught the basic, like, survival skills that he needs to succeed in life. He doesn't know what the fuck he's doing, and so obviously he's not gonna be an adult and, like, take shit seriously like he should. You know, figuring out your priorities for, like, bills and shit like that. Learning that, hey, just because you really like candy and you really like My Little Pony doesn't mean that you should invest your money in that rather than investing your money in the things that you need to actually take care of yourself. Like therapy, medication, transportation, taking care of yourself, all that shit, right? He's not mentally an adult at all. He doesn't know how to thrive, how to survive, or anything. He's still a fucking 12-year-old mentally, like low-key. I feel like Jack is a grifter. He's absolutely sheltered because of his abuse. Yeah, definitely sheltered. Also, the reason why I know a lot of people were like, oh my god, Jack is a hypocrite. He talked about how Cindy Bear was like so gross and nasty and shit like that. But he literally, like, his room is fucking filthy. There's like trash everywhere. He doesn't clean out after himself. He doesn't come out of his room. He doesn't do this. He doesn't do that. Obviously, I'm not going to excuse, you know, like being a slob or whatever when you're living in a space with other people. But on another level, I guess I can kind of understand because, you know, he does have BPD, he does have, like, major depressive disorder, he does have, like, a lot of mental issues and shit like that. Obviously, like, if you are somebody who struggles with mental issues like that, I think you would understand, in a way, how it can be difficult to take care of yourself and your surroundings and do the shit you need to do. because your depression just gets to a point where, like, you don't want to talk to anybody, you don't want to clean up, you don't want to do anything to help yourself. And, like, I get that. But at the end of the day, like, you know, we're all adults. Eventually, you gotta get yourself to a point where, despite your mental issues, despite all the issues you have, POTS, BPD, bipolar, whatever the fuck, right? You still eventually need to step up and do something for yourself. Because I've realized, as somebody who, you know, struggles with these things myself, you can have these issues and still get shit done. It's just whether or not you want to help yourself. If you don't want to help yourself, then you're just going to be stuck there in your little fucking mentally ill pit, rotting in your bed, with trash piling up, dishes piling up, all these responsibilities and shit piling up. And you just sit there in your little fucking, like, mental health, like, box. Just being all like, oh, my life sucks, I should kill myself. What's the point in getting this done? What's the point in doing this? Everybody hates me. Everything sucks. I hate being alive. All I want to do is get on the internet and cry and draw and, like, engage in my coping mechanisms. Which, like, coping mechanisms, you know, it's great. If it helps you do shit, that's cool. However, you need to regulate what you do, because you can't spend, like, your entire day just coping, not doing anything. You gotta be an adult. You've gotta be a fucking adult and, like, step up at some point. You can't expect everybody to do everything for you. GoatCatto, I will say, he never got any life skills because of things like his abuse and especially supposed lack of schooling. Really fucked up, but oddly, I don't feel bad. Yeah, I'm aware of that. But it's also just, like, the learned helplessness. Oh, what do you know? Gator just fucking said that. Like, I get it. I struggle taking care of myself still because of my mental issues and shit like that. Just because I'm productive on the internet doesn't mean I'm as productive, like, in real life, right? But at the same time, you know, like, we're adults. We've got to, like, learn to take care of ourselves instead of just relying on everybody else to do shit for us, especially when you mistreat the people who are trying to help you, because it gets to a point where they don't want to help you if you're just going to be a piece of shit to them. Good God. Also, I'll leave a link to the document later whenever I end stream. Yapping. I have 2 hours before work. Anyways. But yeah, it's on Queen's Twitter. I pity him, but at the same time, the people who pity him are also in a way enabling him, because they're like, oh my god, poor little Jack, it's okay, you have mental health issues, that's why you're doing this. And it's like, I don't know. I personally still struggle with my mental illness, but we have to try and appreciate those who want to help us and actually do shit for us. Exactly. You can't just sit there and complain about nobody doing anything for you when you have all these people who throughout the years have tried to help you in real life, online. You can't sit there and victimize yourself and be like, you guys all hate me, I should kill myself, nobody ever helps me. What are you talking about? Anyways, let's get back into the document. Yeah, this is the Queen document, CH4. You can pity him without wanting to interact with him. Yeah, pretty much. You can pity him without enabling him. Part of me thinks Jack being left on the streets would force him to actually suck up, but also being homeless is something no one should have to endure. He wouldn't know what to do. Genuinely. He would not know what to do. Anyways, at one point did you realize that you should kick him out and confront him? Alright, so Julie Smith was the one who officially kicked Jack out, and I confronted Jack during that process because it was then or never due to Julie's rightfully so paranoia getting to her. Before that, though, in late November, we did have to move Jack back to Julie's place due to the fact he couldn't be at Ara's place anymore because of holidays that were coming up. Although Jane Doe would continue to stay in Ara's house for a bit, not in the guest bedroom, but until her mom let her back in, which was around late November. 7. You said somewhere that he talked about Cindy lots. Could you elaborate on that? From around September till November, he did talk about Cindy a lot. Like, almost every time we hung out, he would either complain about Cindy or reminisce about her. In December, late November, he started talking about Cindy less. Question 8. He said he was in the psych ward once in a tweet. What was that all about? Psych ward? I'll admit, I don't keep track of Jack's tweets at all, haha. So I don't know what Jack's talking about, unless he was talking about when he was younger. Because Jack was in the psych ward for some period in his life, I think, but that would have to be a Jack-specific question instead of a me question, as he would be the only one who could answer it. Question 9. What happened when you kicked him out? When we kicked him out, I confronted him on so many things. I have it recorded. After he got kicked out, he booked a plane ticket the next day and went to stay at a family member's house. For private reasons, I'm not going to say who, because Jack can answer that if he wants to, but I will say it's not somebody he stayed with before, so not his parents, his grandparents, etc. So he's not staying with, like, his mom, his dad, his aunt, etc., or his grandma. Lovely. Okay. Although I was a bit pissed that he left the room as a mess because he could have booked a hotel and dealt with it himself, which I told him to focus on, but he had to get a plane ticket first. But no, I had to deal with it. At least that situation is over and done with. Do you think this is gonna send Jack into some sort of spiral by making a video about this? I hope not, but I get...
Is it weird that the answers for questions in a script is there?
Is it weird that the answers for questions in a script is there? I don't know. No, I mean, I don't really know what that question is, really. It's a Q&A video. They're screenshotting the questions and then writing out their answers to it. I don't know. Do you think this is gonna send Jack into some sort of spiral? I hope not, but I can't really guess. I just wanted to make this document to have my side out there and to make sure that if Jack says anything, people can use this to tell if he's lying or not. Hopefully Jack will mature up and actually apologize and not use excuses. I hope he'll realize that he can't return back to the internet for his own good and everyone else's. It's too late for apologies, but it's still better to apologize properly than not. If he does spiral, that's not our problem. He needs to grow up and realize he's a terrible person who did terrible things and he won't be cuddled or even forgiven. I will say he will be fucking cuddled because have you seen like the Birdie bitches on Twitter who are like, oh my god, he's so cute. I want to flick my bean to him. Like, bro, calm the fuck down. Also, hold on, I'm congested. I gotta get this shit. Oh, fuck. Okay. Alright, I'm back. Oh, God. Anyways. But yeah, no, real shit, by the way. I'm not even lying about the flick the bean comment. I've genuinely seen people on, like, Birdie Confess be like, does anybody have any pictures of Jack to flick my bean to? It's just like, what the fuck are you doing? What the fuck? What are you doing? Also, that was me screaming, sorry. Or, like, coughing. Oh my god, it's Ace Howler! Anyways, did you guys record when he kicked him out, kind of like what he did to Cindy when confronting her? Yes, and I've sprinkled bits and pieces of it in this doc. We're on 9 out of 57. Fuck me. Oh my god. Ace Howler. Why did Birdie not file a report against Cindy regarding the grooming case? I have a reason for this. Jack is too lazy, and we were given confusing information at the time. Jack could have easily submitted a report about inappropriate interactions with minors and followed through with whatever the cop said was needed. Although Jack made one small report, which was a sexual assault claim, but Jack never followed up to that due to multiple reasons, like he couldn't drive himself. Although he didn't really bug me or Ara to drive him to the station to continue with the sexual harassment report, so it went nowhere. This was all said out loud, so I have no screenshots or anything, sadly, but the fact that the report is going nowhere shows the level of importance it is to Jack. Although Ara made his own report a few months ago, so I'm not going into further details. I just wanted to say something to ease people's fears that we didn't do anything with Ara already did. Jack doesn't want to do shit for himself. He probably wanted other people to make the report for him. I'm not even sure if he knows how reporting fucking works. But he is kind of stupid, so it wouldn't surprise me at all. Okay. Stating a case for someone else isn't difficult. It would have been very easy for Jack to get into contact with Eno and put them in contact with the correct authorities. The case he made for himself, I don't know what he was doing. He didn't call during office hours, never went to the station, never did anything that would have helped his own case. I don't know what he was expecting to happen. But Queen didn't bother to make a report? I guess not. Seems like everybody else did it. Ara did it. Jack's stupid? Imagine my shock. I know, right? Whoa. Whoa. Groundbreaking fucking news. Jack is an idiot? Oh. It's almost like everybody knew this already. This is fucking stupid. Yeah, Jack didn't do the report, but I also didn't do the report, so teehee. I'm worried aside from Jack allowing minors to see his 18 plus account. Are there any recent actions Jack did that resulted in this fallout? I personally don't know much about that whole situation with Jack allowing minors to see his porn account, so I'm going to unfortunately leave this blank. I'm not the right person to ask. Sorry. Okay, then don't bring it up, genuinely. I know this is like your first time doing this, but maybe don't do that. I hate to say it, but they come off as opportunistic. Yeah. Although by Fallout, I'm going to guess you mean Jack interacting weirdly with minors recently. If you want a good starting to this, it would be with the 15-year-old who I will be calling Little Guy. Basically, Little Guy is a 15-year-old kid and was a big fan of Jack to the point where Jack was his kid's favorite person. Little Guy then drew pretty sexual artwork of them and Jack's hypersexual Sona, and Jack responded positively to that. Personally, reacting to fan art positively is fine, but the issue starts to show itself when somebody pointed out Little Guy's age and Jack just doubled down. Jack, why are you talking with minors? Excuse me? I'm not allowed to comment on fan art. I don't talk in private with this person. You're being weird. This is where things started to finally click into place for a lot of people, although this was piling up beforehand. It's kind of where the ball started rolling, and this is the starting point for me in my head for this big snowball to start rolling, if that makes sense. Oh, God. So much fucking words. So many words. I know you from that one stream collab. Hi. Anyways, oh my God! What fucking page are we on? 10 of 57? How many fucking questions are there? Holy shit, no wonder it took them so long. I wish Queen also showed the fan art in question. Yeah, because that's pretty important for, like, the context of things. I feel like my name was said for some odd reason. Maybe it's because your question is, like, right up here. Look, it's you, Ace. It's you. Anyways. What was it like living with him? Personally, Jack only stayed at my house for a few days before going to Ara's house. He only came back to my house to sleep for a night or so, only if 1, for funsies like sleepovers, 2, to see his cat, or 3, he needed to be out of the person's house for a night or something due to events or stuff. I would need to ask Ara and Julie for more info on that, although in my house, Jack wouldn't leave the bedroom. But that's because he had no need, and 2, it's a lot more complicated than I can type. But the shortest answer is my mom. So I'm guessing Jack and this person's mom had conflict, and the mom probably didn't fuck with him at all. Question 15, would Jack ever help around the house or just stay in the guest room all day? From what I can recall, in Ara's house, Jack wouldn't help around. He would stay holed up in the room he was staying in, wouldn't hang out with us unless we invited him, kept the lights on constantly and more. With Julie, Jack did pay the rent, but we made sure he did and had the money to do so, but that's as far as Jack helped, which is the bare minimum, because otherwise Jack didn't help clean up after himself, holed up in his room. Yeah, basically the same pattern as with Julie Smith. I will say, you know how I talked about how Jack has, like, severe fucking depression and shit like that? That could explain why he was all holed up in that room, and that's why he didn't clean up. But at the same time, you know, like, you're living in somebody else's house. It's not your property. If you want to be depressive and, like, messy in your own fucking room, in your own fucking place that you're paying for, that's fine. But the fact that you're over at somebody else's house, messing up their fucking guest room, and getting trash and shit all over the floor, bleeding on the fucking mattresses, which, like, by the way, I'm not gonna be like, oh my God, he bled on the mattresses, we gotta cancel him. But it's like, come on, you gotta clean up after yourself. You have to, like, take care of your own take care of other people's property since you don't fucking own it. God, I don't know, it's just fucking stupid, I think. Let me see. I feel like the fact that he let someone sleep on the floor was really callous, though, especially since they got scoliosis. Well, that wasn't like it was like 2 drops of blood. Yeah. But still, though, I feel like you should have at least... Okay, what is it? All my bad bitches know this trick, alright? If you ever bleed on a mattress, get some hydrogen peroxide, dunk that on there, and use, like, cold water to scrub it out. It'll work. But regarding the whole period blood or fucking blood in general on the mattress, I don't think it should have been posted on Twitter, because that's just stupid. But I will say he should have cleaned up after himself regardless. Living with Jack was definitely not fun. He never left the guest bedroom, and even when Jane Doe and I were hanging out, it had to be in the guest room. He barely interacted with my family. To note, I still live at home with my parents and siblings. I definitely do not have my own house, and even when my parents would invite him downstairs to have dinner with us, he'd come out downstairs, load up more than one serving, and disappear off to the guest room again, where I'd have to take his dishes from him. We would invite Jack out, but it wasn't that easy when going to places because he couldn't walk around much, which we will get into later. Most of his time outside the house was coming along for car rides, but I couldn't really leave him alone in the house without me and or Jane Doe. That's just how I do with friends. I try not to leave them alone for too long if they're at my place. If it was restaurants, he would do the same type of thing. If someone else is paying, he orders as much as he can. Yeah, Jack's fucking selfish, I'm not gonna lie. Maybe it's just because, like, I would feel fucking evil and shit like that. But whenever somebody else is paying for my food at a restaurant, I usually end up picking the cheapest option on the fucking menu. That's just a personal thing. I'm not saying he's fucking evil for like, well, I don't know. It's definitely inconsiderate to be like, oh, somebody else is paying. I'm going to get this appetizer. I'm going to get this dinner. And I'm going to get this dessert. And I'm going to get this side. And I'm going to get 5 drinks. Like, it's just like, I just pay them back. Yeah, dude, honestly, he could at least contribute to the fucking bill a little bit. I mean, this guy wasn't willing to freely pay for rent. He wasn't willing to use his own money for like fucking Uber Eats and DoorDash, despite him having the commission fund outside of the 10K. Like, come on. You gotta be a little bit more generous. Like, he expects people to give and give and give and give to him, and he'll take and take and take, but he very, very rarely gives back. And I'm not just talking about financially. I'm talking about him as a person. When I dated him, and like whenever me and my other ex-friend groups or whatever were oh my god, me and his other ex-friends were friends with him. It was always, you have to give him attention, love, support. But when it comes to him giving it back, he doesn't do it that much. He's a giver. Well, no, he's a taker, not a giver, all right? Because, baby, I'm a giver. Anyways, regarding him being holed up in his room and shit like that, I guess you could explain that with, oh, he's mentally ill, which, like, you know, I get it, antisocial, whatever, but you gotta show some sort of, like, gratitude or appreciation towards the people who are, you know, feeding you, housing you. Come out and, like, help around the house. Say thank you. Give a little money back. Like, come on. Christmas is about the gift of giving, not getting. Oh, God, don't talk about Christmas, that little bitch. Anyways, we would invite Jack out, but it wasn't easy when going places he couldn't walk. If it was restaurants, he would do the same kind of thing. If somebody else is paying, he orders as much as he can. There's a specific restaurant we went to that had a little gift store along the back wall, and I said I'd get him something if he wanted to pick something out. He spent $45 of my money, not counting towards this actual food, because he just kept grabbing things. And this was right after another card ride of him venting about sinning. Oh, okay. This is gonna sound rude. If you offer to buy someone something, that's cool. That's very generous. But like, if they're grabbing shit that's too expensive, you can say no and be like, hey, when I said I could buy you a gift, I meant like one thing. I can't really afford it. Like, you gotta speak up. I understand being nice. I understand like going out of your way to buy shit for people regardless of how expensive it is. It shows that you're a good person, and he's probably, like, a bit inconsiderate, but, like, God. Playing devil's advocate here, but I think Jack now helping around the house is because he would not know what to do and be scared to mess up, but that is maybe just putting myself in Jack's shoes. Maybe, I don't know. The thing is, though, is that Jack lied about how, oh, I had to clean at Cindy's apartment, and I'm a very clean and nice person, and blah, 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 blah. So it's just, okay. Half of this document is just a lack of saying no to Jack and twisting it like he forced them to do these things for him. Yeah, kind of. It's pretty normal to accidentally bleed on your mattress, but you gotta clean it or give it a cover to wash. Yeah, but like, why was that shit posted on Twitter? Really don't know. I don't know why that needed to be included. If he was scared of messing up when cleaning, though, he should ask to do it properly. And also, like, if you're scared of, like, messing up in regards to cleaning, why fucking like bitch and be all like, I'm such a tidy person and this person's dirty, me, like, come on. Ugh, anyways, by the time he moved out, which I believe he said was me kicking him out, that guest room was bad. My parents, for good reason, did not like Jack. He was rude to them. He was running up the water and electricity bills, and he walked around in his underwear. Oh, the horror. They're the ones who told me he needed to stay somewhere else, and I tried to be nice about it. He was supposed to have an apartment by now, but Jane Doe didn't make enough money for both of them. She was working 2 jobs just to get him an apartment. My parents were not comfortable with him, and by now I didn't like living with him either. The guest room smelled kind of musty, maybe a little mildewy, because he left all of his clothes on the floor. His reason, I have POTS, and so that means he has to leave literally all his clothes clean and dirty on the floor. He would take 10-minute bird baths instead of real showers. So I have no idea if he was actually clean or not. He didn't really dry off after his showers, so the bed didn't smell good either. Okay. Jane Doe deep cleaned the room after he left, and again before she moved out a few months later. Trust me when I say my room has never smelled like that. And it never smelled like that again after Jack left. Okay. Oh, did Birdie sleep here? Why are we fucking including this? You could say that, like... You could say that he didn't take care of the room, but like, why are you going, the room was like really, really stinky. It smelled like mildew. Also, I don't even think he took proper showers, bro. He just took like 10-second fucking bird baths, bro. And also, dude, it smelled like mildewy and musty and oh my God. And what? This whole doc feels weird, like with the potential CP, sure, expose that if you have evidence, but the rest feels like petty private issues people don't really need to hear. Yeah, honestly, why air this out? Why air this out? I thought this was gonna give us more information about actually important shit instead of being like, this bitch doesn't shower! He's mentally ill. What do you think mentally ill people don't do? Shower. Sometimes. Didn't he say he didn't know at the time he was a minor that being in underwear in a call was wrong, but to then be in his underwear in another person's house, I get it if it was only on the best guest room. Yeah, it's a bit fucking odd to run around with just with no pants, just underwear on, with a fucking t-shirt and be like, hi guys, I'm gonna take 4 trays of macaroni back to my room. Okay, bye guys. This is into too much detail, like we didn't need to know all this shit. Yeah. God. Okay, Jane Doe cleaned the room after he left. My room never smelled like that again after he left. Jane Doe. I was Jack's roommate for a while. While I was living with Ara, I was working 2 jobs to support me and him. I slept on the floor while he had his whole bed to himself. He used to say that he had back problems, although I have scoliosis, so... And me wanting the best for him, I let him have the whole bed while I slept on an almost flattened futon and a seal plush for a pillow. But further in the document, you said that you slept on the floor. So you're sleeping on a futon with some pillows and some plushies. And he didn't force you. You let him. So why are we wording it as if, yeah, Jack made a person with scoliosis sleep on the fucking floor, when you say that you let him sleep on the fucking bed? Did you even ask him, be like, hey, I have scoliosis. Could we, like, share the bed or something? Or could I have a turn on the bed? Maybe invest in a fucking air mattress? I know those things cost, like, $30, $40 fucking dollars. Why? Why didn't you invest in that? Like, you can't just bitch about letting someone do something because you're kind and then be like, yeah, he made me. Are you fucking stupid? Oh, my God. Anyways... I let him have the whole bed while I slept on an almost flattened futon and a seal plushie for a pillow. I asked for a pillow one time and he said that he didn't have any. There was 4 on that bed. He never wore headphones and kept the overhead light on the whole time. Shut up. Which was, he never wore headphones and kept the overhead light on the whole time until he went to bed, which was at 4 to 5 a.m. At the time, I just ignored my own needs because he vented so much and I felt bad for him, so I let him do it. I'm an idiot for that. One time after work, I worked a night shift and had to go to bed early for a 6 a.m. shift. I barely got any sleep that night, even after taking melatonin, and almost bursted out crying from how overstimulated and exhausted I was from the loud noises and the light. I used to do everything for him while staying with him. I would do his laundry, cook for him, buy him food and hygiene products. Sometimes I even had to wake him up so he could go to his appointments. Meanwhile, I had to walk on eggshells so he wouldn't get uncomfortable, and I didn't want to intrude on Ara's space because I didn't want to burden him with it, so I put up with Jack's shit. Baby, we are full-grown adults. Why are we doing this? What the fuck is this? My alarm. Anyways, I don't really get the point of this. Goat, if I come over and sleep in your bed without asking, what are you doing? Easy, talk to them. Also, yeah, dude, if there's a bunch of pillows on the fucking bed, you can, like, get up and grab the fucking pillow if Jack's gonna be an asshole and, like, not give you a fucking pillow. If you're getting overstimulated, tell them to turn it down. Yeah, no, they're not even saying anything about how they're complaining. They're just all like, I was overstimulated and I started crying and he didn't give me a fucking pillow and I let him sleep on the bed, so I'm gonna victimize myself by saying, blah, 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 blah. Like, come on. Come on. I hate to be rude. I understand being overstimulated, being sad, having fucking back issues, right? But we're grown. Speak up if you need something. Speak up if you don't like something. I want to know what you mean by, oh, I was walking on eggshells around him. Was he like threatening to kill himself or something if you took a pillow? Was he threatening to kill himself if like you said, hey, I'm tired of sleeping on the futon, my back hurts, can I like sleep on the bed for one fucking night? I don't get it. One half is people getting untestably mad at him, while the other half is people not understanding how mentally ill and disabled people are, but not quirky, I guess. Yeah. It's also just bitching that they didn't say anything to him when they needed something from him. Like, come on. Not to defend Jack, but a lot of this shit, either, number one, is understandable due to, like, his mental and physical disability. Because, you know, depressed people, they bed rot a lot, whatever. There's shit you can criticize, such as, you know, doing all that shit while you're at somebody else's place. But then there's also, like, the criticism I could give to the people who wrote this doc and the people who fucking, like, you know, put up with him. Say something. Say something to him. And also, why air this shit out on the internet in, like, the first fucking place? It's just stupid. Oh my god. Okay, anyways, I had to walk on eggshells so he wouldn't get uncomfortable, and I didn't want to intrude on Ara's place, so I put up with Jack's shit. I cared about Jack so much that at the time for Jack's ruined birthday, I even made a tres leches cake by hand for 3 days. One time when Ara's picking me up from work, I had some food I brought for Ara and Jack in a bag. I handed the bag to Jack, who was sitting in the back, for some food. Okay. I had some food I bought for Ara and back in a Jag. Jag, hello? In a bag. I handed the bag to Jack, who was sitting in the back, for some room, plus so that he could eat his own food. Ara was driving. Instead of eating just his food, Jack ate a bit of Ara's food, which I had to repeatedly remind him that it was Ara's. After the third time, he stopped after Queen had to show him which was his food. Why do we care? Why do we fucking care, bro? What's the point of this? I don't fucking care that he ate a little bit of Ara's food and that he was confusing Ara's food with his own food. Wait, isn't their parents living with them? Yeah, apparently. He was staying at somebody's parents' house with that person. On Halloween, I pushed his... What the fuck? Why is there a Christmas song? Get the fuck out of here. Anyways, Anyways, on Halloween, I pushed his wheelchair up steep driveways while having severe stomach pains, and he didn't even ask if I was all right when I went to go lay down, and Queen and Ara took over. Okay. Sorry for you, I guess. What do you want us to do about that? Anyways, Jack is a very inconsiderate person and very manipulative. If you ever interact with him, don't. He's a bad person and will drag your name through the mud even if you've done nothing wrong. Be safe and have a good day. Okay. Okay. Julie Smith. Jack has left all his dishes in the sink. Jack left his hair all over the bathroom wall. On the walls, in the sink, in the dryer, in the washing machine. Like, okay, cool. Okay, awesome. Jack left his hair all over the bathroom walls. He had a light on 24/7 in his room. Maybe he's scared of the fucking dark. Also, did anybody tell him off and be like, hey, don't do that? Jack used to come out of the room he was staying in, but he stopped. Jack also stopped saying hi every night and would only come out to eat. Even then, he rarely did that when I was around because I stopped making him meals and plates of food. I always cleaned and took out the trash, which Jack never did. When Guy was over, he'd tell us to be quiet at 3 a.m., which is fair, but he told me to be quiet at 9 a.m. because when I was cleaning and cooking, which I can't really help because my sleep schedule is based on my work schedule, Guy was there to witness that too. Jack ate mostly sweets, candy, and meal prepped burritos that I put together. He usually didn't touch anything that was just ingredients like ground beef, cheese, lettuce, tomatoes. Why do I fucking care? Whoa, Goat! You missed the smoking gun! He didn't say hi! A lot of autistic bitches don't say hi. I remember my ex's dad got mad at me because I, like, walked into his house, right? With my ex. And, like, my ex's dad was all like, hey, what's up? And I didn't say hi back because, you know, I forgot. I just walked in. I was just like, and he was like, why didn't you say hi? It's like really rude. This is my house. It's not that fucking deep. Who cares? Who fucking cares? Jack would never make his own food. What was the breaking point for you guys personally? My breaking point is basically the same as ours. Jack's lying and manipulation being put on full view when he tried to throw Jane Doe under the bus. Even then, it's been building up before the whole blow-up point. Anyways, this situation is kind of long, but the short point being, Jane Doe tried her best and committed to helping Jack find an apartment for 3 months. Jane Doe had to stop because Jack was wearing her down with the threats of suicide. Okay, so there's that. Jack's constant splits. Jack saying we're not helping him and more. I understand that Jack is like a difficult person to deal with. Trust me, I know. I understand. I know, right? But like, oh my god, bruh. It's just... I don't know. Jack is a bad person, yes, but I'm kind of glad that this bitch didn't drop this video because this doesn't seem like anything we really need to know. I will say it's generally polite to say hi, but I'm not going to include that in a big stupid Google Doc about them like it's not that big. Exactly. Like, I feel like this is a show of his character to get a better idea of what he's like IRL, although I do agree that a lot of this is irrelevant. I feel like this document was complaining a bit too much. Yeah. This is just very silly. I don't think I would make a document like this ever. It just seems a little goofy. Which, like, I get it. You're answering questions and answers. That's why you're making it. But at the same time, did this really need to be made at the end of the day? Did you really need to tell the internet everything about Birdie? Oh, we're just trying to give you insight on what he's like as a person. Everybody knows he's a shit person. We don't need, like, people who dealt with him IRL to be telling us this. We've already had his siblings tell us that he's shit, bro. Like, we know. We know. Like, I'm sorry that this happened. I do feel bad for you. But at the same time, it's just like, dude, let it go. At some point, you gotta just, like, stop letting him live in your brain. I understand talking about him from, like, a commentary perspective and, like, every now and then when it's relevant, but, like, Jesus Christ, dude. This Google document is too personal and some information is all over the place. I know Birdie is a bad person, but you could have kept this private. I feel like this doc is going to feed into the Birdie obsession some people have with him. Something Queen knows, by the way, and does not care. It's creepy, not going to lie. Yeah, no, Birdie confesses is going to be like, oh my god, he smells like must and crust. Oh, I'm going to jerk off to that. Like, okay. Great. Anyways. Jane Doe had to stop because Jack was wearing her down with the threats of suicide, saying she wasn't helping him and more. All those just started wearing her down so much that she actually did break, but she still tried her best to help until something happened. Suddenly, yes, it was really suddenly, Jane Doe's mother contacted her saying she could come back and live with them rent-free. Jane took that opportunity, and Jack's been holding that above her head, even though Jack himself said that he understands why she did it, but she should have said why anyways instead of ghosting me. Can it, Jack? Even then, you, Jack, have told us that it's okay to ghost people. Jane Doe is in the right and Jack has been in the wrong, and that was the beginning of our fallout, although we've noticed some horrible behavior before, but yeah. Jack saying that he wants Jane Doe to give him closure. I just want to say this. We never gave Jack any empty promises. We told him constantly how busy we were, but that we would still try to help him. I guess somewhere in his head he thought it was a promise of sorts. The highlighted part was where he said he wanted... what the fuck does this mean? Okay. Alright. Get off the internet! I'm not excusing my previous behavior with my personality disorder because it was still wrong and I never said it wasn't. And my personality disorder doesn't mean you should keep things from me because you assume I'll flip out. I understand the thought process behind it. I've spun in the 2 months. I've spun out in the past, but that was because Cynthia has pushed me to my limits. I'm homeless. I can't take care of my cat where I'm at. I can't drive. I eat every other day. Blank, my family thinks I'm a groomer. I feel like passing out, and every time I stand up, even just the shower, urgent care is doing everything in their power to not give me the medication that I need. The internet is on my ass 24/7. The internet is my only source of income, private info. And on top of that, you guys have constantly been giving me empty promises and false hopes. I don't think you understand just how much that kind of shit affects the psyche, especially for someone like me. The way I acted wasn't normal for me in the slightest. That doesn't take away how hurtful they were, and I'd understand if Jane Doe told me she didn't want to be friends anymore or something, or that you and Ara would stick around less. I would have let her go. People leave me all the time, and I've been through it before. I want it to be done quick and painlessly, not have things drawn out and hidden behind my back. I just want the band-aid ripped off, not unexplained silence from all of you. The way you guys act around me makes me think that you guys are scared of me or think I'm dangerous. I can't have you guys promising to do things for me while knowing you already have your hands full. I'm in the exact same spot I was in with my family in Washington, except I don't know the area here because I didn't grow up here and there's no public transportation. I've tried my absolute hardest to... I can't see it. To bottle up my emotions until someone came forward and told me the truth, hence the quips. Okay. I'd hold them in as often as possible, but the resentment I felt for being abandoned in this way has made it impossible. I've never had real life friends, so I'm not used to pretending to be fine in person. I've been pretending everything is fine because I've known I'm a burden on all of you, but you guys wouldn't say it to my face. So I kept quiet until somebody would say something to me, but that never happened until I went first. Yeah, it was wrong that I was pretending around all of you, but it was wrong of you too. I'm going to sleep on this, as it is a lot. 100% you have valid feelings on this, and I don't want to discount that at all, so I'll wait till I'm more well-rested to give you the proper answer. That's a good idea. I think I should sleep on it too. I don't know what I'm going to do from here. Do you have more packages? This is Jack admitting that no one is owed closure. Also, I'm sorry to bomb this on you while you're high. I cannot read this. Nobody is owed closure. What the fuck?
Oh, Cape Cocaine.
Oh, pee-pee cocaine. I love pee-pee cocaine. Oh my god. Anyways, I love pee-pee cocaine. Thank you. Thank you for the $1.99. More reading. Okay. Nobody is owed closure. Too much and too small. You make closure for yourself. You give them an inch, they take a mile. They'll just keep trying to keep you talking to them if you interact. Ignoring you is your best bet. Some context. Zebra Cake, Jane Doe's ex friend tried to contact them, basically asking for closure, even though it was the ex-friend's fault for being extremely possessive and more, but that's just more private, so I'm keeping it short and simple. Jane Doe just wanted to rant about it. Jack then said that in support for Jane Doe, calling the ex-friend manipulative, which is just the pot calling the kettle black. Very ironic. Oh, okay. Okay. Great. Anyways, anyway, this is just the tip of Jack's hypocrisy that he's shown us, and we've even made a list on what to confront him on, which is the list I used. Okay, cool. When I did confront him, we made this on the spot when we realized that Julie Smith wanted to kick him out. Jack's behavior towards us. I need to get a fucking drink, dude. Genuinely, I don't understand why we need to know, like, any of that. I'm, like, uninterested in most of this shit. If it went more into detail about, like, what happened during the grooming allegations, the shit with Little Guy, the shit with Cindy Bear, then I'd care about more, I guess. But who knows? Maybe there's something in there that I'll actually give a shit about later. Jack is manipulative. Fork found in kitchen. Wow. Yeah. Nobody's owed closure, but online is so much more different than IRL. Not gonna lie, I think Queen is being childish. Yeah. Imagine making a Google document on your roommate. Shadow the Hedgehog is a bitch-ass motherfucker, pretty much. Or that Jack has CP comment. Yeah, no, genuinely. They're like, yeah, we kicked him out because we think he has CP, but we're not gonna elaborate on that, okay? We're leaving it up for interpretation. Like, what is it? The drawn shit? Does he actually have, like, actual CP? Like, what the fuck are you on about? I don't understand. I don't understand, like, any of this. All right. We have the notes. Jack's behavior towards us. Manipulation and gaslighting. Guilt tripping. You bit off more than you can chew. Masking. Makes people uncomfortable. Queen and the My Little Pony smile horror video. What? A friend found his behavior on pre-con night weird. Ara drove there and back to a ramen place and had to take him back, spending a shit ton of gas while he's still hid in the guest room. What? The glorification of his self-harm scars. Constantly talking about wanting Cindy dead. Excuses. Pox for everything, physically laboring. BPD for insulting us. Tries to kill himself and then doesn't. Thankfully. Apologizes and then repeats. Okay. Anything else, unless it's not bad to own up to his mistakes. Hypocrisy. Cindy's cleanliness. Grooming children. You're a hypocrite for grooming children. Anyways, apologizing to Ara and Queen, but throwing Jane Doe under the bus for the same things. Grasping for straws against Jane Doe when Jack has nothing against them. Racism, possibly. What? Okay. Everything else, because he gets onto people for the same things he does. Also, is it images of himself? If he has naked pictures of himself, then the argument could be evidence of his abuse. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck they're on about. It's just up for interpretation, which people are probably going to twist into the worst shit ever. If the document was mainly his online activities and threats of suicide and stuff, I will like this document. However, if you get too personal, like IRL-wise, people won't like this document. Yeah, it's way too personal. I don't know why the fuck we care. Why are we listening to Fonk? What's going on? Anyways. Flat out lying, paying some rent, lying to us about who he was as a person. We expected someone who Jack wasn't. Telling roommate he did not have any money for rent. Well, the 10 to 12k was still in his account. Being a slob but saying he's clean. Food in the house. Okay. Does not do chores, relying on pots to avoid doing things. Halloween and heated blanket. Okay. Made up a bunch of shit about who he was, omitting important details, taking a mile instead of an inch, grabbing literally as much as he can when someone is paying, but never paying for even himself. Halloween had to be pushed around, even up driveways because he didn't want to get up due to a blanket on his lap or something. What the fuck are you on about, bro? I'm so confused. Victim complexing. Has to be the victim in every situation possible. This is true. I will say he is the ultimate fucking victim. But I'm kind of so fucking confused on like everything else you're talking about. What is this? Halloween and heated blanket. What does this mean? Is it a type of code? Maybe. Why do we care about this? I don't know. I don't understand any of this. Okay. With Jane Doe and the apartment and how she left. Jackie is sadistic and loves attention. His own family having to call the cops when he literally abuses and assaults his sibling, including the 7-year-old. Cindy Squirt post wording. Never correcting his misinformation. Trauma competition. A friend's rare disease and medical condition cannot be worse than his. Ours pots cannot be worse than his. Also can't be managed, of course. Genuinely thinks his life is cursed because he's not 100% catered to. Continues to repeat that we never help enough. Genuinely thinks we need to do everything for him or it's not enough, like making his food, driving him to his appointments, getting his medication, prosecutor calls, Queen keeping his cat, moving him away from Cindy, doesn't do anything for himself. Again, food, meds, calls, apartment searches, cleaning up after himself, relies heavily on everyone while saying he wants to be independent. Wake up in time for appointments he needs, does not set reminders, genuinely scam people out of 12k, will not spend money on therapy, I can't afford it. Made a few friends pay for his food while he had money and already had food. Suicide baiting and threats. Complained about the nurses about limiting his meds. Telling Jane Doe and Queen he would do it again. Gave Jane Doe a mental breakdown and continues to blame her. Says Jane Doe ghosted and dipped and talks shit about Jane Doe to her besties, Queen and Ara. Publicizing his attempts for Twitter, pity and showmanship. Saying he thinks of suicide 24/7. He's fucking mentally ill. Of course he's gonna say he thinks about suicide 24/7. A lot of people struggle with suicidal ideation. Listen, I'm not trying to stroke him off and like be a fucking dick writer, right? But he does struggle with mental health. It's not fucking like surprising that he talks about wanting to kill himself 24/7, or at least talks about having those thoughts in his head 24/7. Wow. Takes a big brain person to figure that one out, huh? My God. And this document doesn't prove to me that he's a good person or anything. Obviously, it shows the evidence that he's a bad person from testimony from the people who lived with him. But at the same time, it's just like, why do we need to know every single fucking detail, bro? It feels like... I don't even fucking know. Point of contention, apparently. I feel like they did kind of sign up for that, but there should be some sort of restraint. Honestly, if he thinks Queen and his friends are his friends, then maybe he confided in them, thinking his friends would be there for him. Yeah. Obviously criticize him for the behavior that's not acceptable, but when you start like dragging mental health aspects or like normal aspects into things and be like, he didn't do this and he didn't do that, or because of his mental health he's not doing this thing, let's slap that on a Google document and bitch about it on Twitter. Like, okay, cool. Jack bad dub, but this is getting so fucking petty. Yeah. Claims he wants us to be honest, rip off the band-aid, but has proven every single time that he will split, kill himself, or cut people off if we don't fully agree. Eggshells. Well, that would explain why you're scared to, like, tell him shit. I get that. I sympathize, but at the same time, we are all adults. It is your fucking house. If not, like, your parents' house. They could just kick him out whenever they want. You don't even have to deal with it realistically. You can just block him on Discord. And your parents could be like, yeah, get the fuck out of my house. I don't want to deal with you anymore. Easy, easy, easy. And I will say this. For anybody who is dealing with somebody who's a guilt tripper and is like, if you do this, I'm going to kill myself or cut myself or do this or do that. If they do that, you should not care. I'm not saying, like, obviously there's an emotional response being like, don't do that, don't do that. What I'm saying is, what that person does is not on you. That's on them. You should not have to worry about a bitch killing themselves because you fucking stand up to them. If they threaten that shit when you do stand up to them, cut them off. If they say they're going to kill themselves, okay, block, move on. Don't feed into it and be like, no, don't do that, don't do that, don't do that. It's not your fucking obligation. You don't have to fucking feed into that shit. Yeah, don't care, but also don't, like, egg them on. Their actions are their own. Yeah, you're not to blame for somebody else doing stupid shit. People will do anything but try to actually get help. Yep. Oh, great. Here we go. Okay. Cannot take responsibility for creepy behavior. It's Draggy's fault. Grooming fetish. Scared of looking at Jay's DMs with the nudes he traded. Okay. I don't want to know about that. Making fun of Julian's nudes. Queen missed his appointment. Can't interact with fan art. 15-year-old. Can't take care of himself or squirt. The dishwasher. What the fuck is up with the dishwasher? Disrespected Ara's house. The grooming fetish. Okay, so for context, apparently Jack said that Draggy had like a grooming fetish or some shit like that, right? To try and discredit Jackie's experience with him. Anyways, God. Disrespected Ara's house, the fucked up guest bedroom, walked around in front of Ara's parents in his underwear, refused to interact almost at all, hid upstairs before con day, especially loud, kept the lights on all night with Jane Doe so she couldn't sleep, inconsiderate of others, continues to ask others to spend others' money before his own, like even 1% of his 10K. Asked Queen for $5 because he was short of it in his checking account and he didn't want to transfer the money when she said she couldn't, but he then transferred it. Buys derpy plushies before buying food. Says he's good at pretending and masking. His little resentful quips. At the doctor this Tuesday, acting normal with the cops after he's trying to kill himself. Okay. Cool. Awesome. Yeah, honestly, just fucking tell him to turn the lights off. If you're concerned about the guy, like, using up your electricity, you have a mouth. You can just be like, hey, turn the light off. Hey, turn the light off. What is he gonna do? Be like, if you tell me to fucking turn the light off, I'm going to kill myself. You know that. Like, come on. Lots of interesting curveballs in this document with zero context. Yeah. No, this was just like the list of shit that they wanted to confront him about, but the document doesn't go in depth about any of this shit. What made you guys finally decide to kick him out? I already answered that. Okay, cool. You don't need to include this then. Would you say there's more contradictions to his comeback video than what we've already seen? I missed this question on my first typing, but I did answer this question somewhat down the list on question 12, but it's the one with his grandma that really stood out to me. He has a screenshot with his grandma, and during this he was making her out to seem like the villain. Really makes me think who else he would be calling a villain when in reality they were just being realistic. Examples being his exes, ex-friends, some other family members, etc. Although, yes, I believe that his parents are pieces of shit. How much of it was exaggerated and how much was it not? It's just a question that haunts my mind, and while I do believe his parents are horrible people, I just wonder, were they extremely ain't no holla back girl, ain't no holla back girl. Anyways, while I do believe that his parents are horrible people, I just wonder, were they extremely strict people, or are they that bad? If they're that bad, why does he even continue to talk to them? Maybe because, you know, they're his family. I don't know. Complicated bullshit. I still talk to my mom after I moved out, off and on. Anyways, I asked this question to Jack in the confrontation, and this is what he says. Okay, no more holla back girl, okay? We finally get to our first little audio clip, okay? I'm gonna put my phone on the charger, okay? All right, let's listen.
What about your siblings, your grandma. I'm not saying that your parents were bad or anything like that. But what about your...
talk to them.
You still talk to them, yet you say that you've been so horribly abused by them. You said that you've been sexually abused by them. You say that they're in a cult. You say that
They started
they're in
acting
all...
close to me,
Why does this
actually.
person sound like they smoke?
I've craved that validation for I've craved that validation for my whole life, so I can't give that up.
Okay.
I need validation from my parents. I didn't have it as a kid and they're giving it to me now, and I couldn't cut them off. I tried, but I can't. They're being too nice, I just can't.
Okay. I guess that's fair. Yeah.
If you have this recording, okay.
Shame
Okay,
them
hold on,
online.
Hold on. If you have this recording and he's explaining to you why he doesn't want to cut his parents off, what's the fucking point of putting this in the document? And being like, why doesn't he want to cut his parents off? Ha 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 ha. This sounds like a really personal thing to record. Yeah, it does. He's literally fucking crying. I know somebody's gonna argue and be like, but he recorded Cindy during an emotional moment. And it's like, yeah. But why do this? This just seems stupid.
And for everything like that, which is fair and right, but yet you are refusing to cut them off.
I did cut them off.
It's
at
his
one
fucking
point, but
parents.
I don't even remember what happened. I know I blocked them both at one point. It might have been because I needed to see my siblings or something, but I really do need that validation from them.
Okay.
We've talked about things in depth. Me and my mom have talked about things in depth. That was last year. You weren't even, you didn't know me then.
What the fuck? So from what I'm getting from this, you're bitching at Birdie, the abused person, the person who was abused by their parents. And you're like, why aren't you cutting your parents off if you bitch about them being so abusive and you say that you don't want to talk to him so much? Blah, 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 blah. Abuse situations are complicated. He's not a great person, but I think anybody can fucking say this. He's not cutting off his parents because he seeks the validation from them. They hurt him for most of his life, but he still wants something good. That's still his mom and dad, bro. For fuck's sakes, I absolutely despised the bitch who raised me, right? I didn't want to talk to her, but I still wanted her validation despite all the horrible shit she put me through. Anybody can say this shit about any type of abuser, be it their parents, their fucking ex, anything. This is just stupid to include and try to frame it as some sort of fucking gotcha. If they're that bad, why does he continue to talk to them? I asked this question to Jack. This is what he says. Why do you even have... I just don't understand, really. I don't fucking get it. I don't get this shit. Anyways, I guess we'll continue. What made you guys suddenly turn your back on Jack? Was the situation with replying to a minor, or was it something on the inside between you guys? I already responded to this, but to give a direct answer, it was mainly inside situations that had us turning on him. There were many incidents that started piling up, and hopefully I can give a more clear picture as this video goes on. But sadly, it wasn't due to him responding to a minor, as Jack manipulated the story and we fell for it, hook, line, and sinker. It sucks that we didn't really look into it until Twitter started to point things out to me when I was defending, him a while ago, because Jack lied to us about who he was as a person. We expected a clean, well-rounded person who had their life under control. I'm sorry, are you fucking stupid? Okay. I know they didn't know about his Birdie drama shit, but I'm sure at some point you had to have known that. Yeah, this is Birdie. How? Okay. He has an internet presence. He's one of the most hated people on the fucking internet. Did Cindy not tell you about who he was? Did he not tell you anything about Birdie drama? If I'm going to be moving in with somebody or housing somebody or taking care of somebody who tells me that they have a pretty controversial internet presence, I'm gonna look into that before I house them. Yeah, these are Cindy's friends from work. They fucking knew. Plenty of people tried to tell them and they ignored him. Great. That got to be a lie because they knew about his mental illnesses and disabilities. This is so fucking stupid. Oh my god. Anyways, sucks that we didn't really look into it until Twitter started to point things out to me when I was defending him a while ago because Jack lied to us about who he was. He's messy, dirty, manipulative person who doesn't have his life under control and constantly lies. We didn't know who Jack was and we had to find out the hard way. Also, I understand wanting to be nice and shit like that. And to house somebody who's going through something difficult, you know? But at the same time, you should really look into a person and get to know them before housing them. Like, I've heard about people who are super nice to people they don't know, and they're like, oh yeah, I don't have a house, and they're like, okay, come live with us, and some fucked up shit almost always ends up happening. Like, yeah, good on you for being kind, but also it's on you for not looking into the fucking person. You're inviting a complete, total fucking stranger into your home. It's fucking stupid. Okay, whatever. Maybe I'm not that empathetic and I would never do that to somebody. It's just like, come on. Anyways. Okay. He's a messy, dirty person who constantly lies. We didn't know who Jack was and we had to find out the hard way. This is what Jack said about the 15-year-old drawing fan art he responded to. We have another audio file. Let's listen. Okay, come on.
Yeah. You told us you can't interact with fan art for like that 15-year-old stuff like that. I know a lot of people draw fan art of you and stuff like that. But as soon as you found out that kid was 15, instead of owning up to it, saying that was my fault, I should not have looked at it, you instead went, stop making this weird. I didn't privately DM them.
That's fucked up.
There are a few misunderstandings with that. And I do still, that was a big mistake that I made reacting so defensively, which is why I decided to take a break from social media and why I'm continuing to do that, because I realized I'm not stable enough to run a public account at the place that I'm at mentally right now. And I realized that I was getting defensive at this person, and I still did not check their profile. I thought they were I assumed that they were 16 or 17, because I'm like, yeah, my audience is 16 plus.
But even then, that kind of thing, that's an 18 plus thing. Self-harm, but the thing, that's an 18.
I know this bitch just fucking said it, but the fact that he was like, oh yeah, I thought they were 16 or 17 years old. Motherfucker. That doesn't help your case. It doesn't help your case at all. That's fucking stupid.
Did you just say I didn't know?
Yeah. I only found out until I saw posts about it on Twitter. And then I realized I fucked up because I didn't even check it. I was getting all defensive over something really stupid, and I did make a mistake, and I should have checked their profile because they were obsessively making fan art of me, and I didn't think, oh, this is weird. I was just like, oh, it's fan art, I have to comment on it.
Fair enough, but I'm talking about...
I don't believe him because this motherfucker would always bitch to us, right? This guy in our friend group, and just throughout his fucking time being on the internet, and even in his goddamn card, he's like, yeah, I don't like obsessive fans. They weird me out and shit like that. I don't like engaging with fans, Birdie Orbiters and Birdie Obsessors DNI, and then you're going out of your way to respond and engage with somebody who, to outsiders, I guess, you could view it as an obsessive parasocial fan. Not to be rude, little guy, not to be rude or anything, right? Not wearing black, fake goth. Okay, shut up, Gilded, shut up. But to any normal person looking into this situation with him and little guy, it would be pretty hypocritical because he's all like, oh yeah, I don't like obsessive fans and shit like that. I don't like talking to fans. I don't like making friends with fans and shit like that. Blah, 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 blah. Come on. Not to be lewd, I meant rude. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. It just doesn't make sense to me, okay? I think it's bullshit. And most of his friends were fans, realistically speaking. The entire reason as to how the 2019 friend server and the other ones came to be was because, what was it called? Torturing Birdie. He had a series called Torturing Birdie, and he was opening up voice acting auditions and shit like that, right? And he allowed his fans to audition, and the ones who got, selected for the role that they auditioned for got invited to a private server. And he ended up connecting with me and some of the other friends and becoming other fans and becoming friends with them. But yeah, I don't like becoming friends with fans, guys. You literally became friends with one of your number one friends. Oh my god. You became friends with one of your number one fans, Julian. Julian would always have those fucking profile pictures and shit like that. Like the whole fucking Birdie art profile picture, engaging in his content 24/7. He's just a fucking liar, and he's lying in this. This is what I'm trying to say, okay? This is fucking stupid.
How that stuff, how your entire account, some of your really cute art, yeah, definitely should be. But Seth's Deadly Sin characters, which is 100% 18 plus, you've admitted it to a Laurel as well. I remember you also admitting it to me as well, saying that, oh, I should probably make some of these 18. Instead, you drew very extreme, like literally almost sex. Just literally, what's his name again? June, groping.
Another thing, I was the same age as those characters when I drew that stuff.
No, I'm talking about now. This is like now recently. Like this is new Seth. This is new Juno.
My age. Like I aged up the characters.
But still, I'm talking about your audience who watches those stuffs, looks at those stuffs. You have very sexual things that belong on an 18 plus page.
And you know what's crazy? In the fucking, like, Lord Crest Birdie stream I did, right? This motherfucker was like, oh yeah, Kitty Dog makes very sexual animation memes. What's up with that? What's up with your art, buddy? What's up with your fucking animations on your YouTube channel? You're a fucking hypocrite. You're a hypocrite. I hate you.
Your My Little Pony, really cute. Your derpy stuff that you've posted on there, 100% good. That's good for any ages. But your Seth's Deadly Sin characters you posted about, your extremely hypersexual character you've posted about on stuff, bad. No, keep that away from kids at this point, especially with how gray that area. Just make it 18 plus. If you think it's great, making 18 plus. Basically kind of make that black and white separation. 18 plus, that's fine.
I do actually think that's a good idea. I don't like having minors in my audience in the first place, so I definitely should just mark everything.
I don't like having minors in my audience in the first place. Okay, fucker, then why do you engage with them? Yeah, I don't like having minors in my audience, but I will engage with 12-year-olds. I will teach 12-year-olds on how to cut themselves. I will respond to fucking weird fan art that minors make of me and be super, super sweet to them. Like, okay, sure, buddy. About that.
I'll have to mull that over though, because that's like, I'm gonna have to worry about that later because I can't even think about social media right now. I have to focus on other stuff.
Yeah, but people want change now too as well.
There are other things that are priorities right now, like calling the apartment, checking the emails. I don't know what else. I haven't been able to think today, but I have been trying to prioritize other things because I know that if I focused on the internet right now, I would spiral, and I know that I do not need to do that right now.
Then you shouldn't even be on the internet.
If you're gonna make a hypersexual,
you
so keep it to an 18
at that point,
account.
Just don't be on the internet anymore. Stop being on the internet. Find a job. Get your GED. You have money. 10 pages. Serve you through. Stuff like that. Get your GED or something. It's just because you have disabilities doesn't mean you can't do it. You just don't want to do it. There's a difference. Because there's a lot of people out in the world who have disabilities worse than yours too. I'm not going to say that they're worse. Everyone's worse and stuff like that. It's just that you can do it. You just don't want to. And it's becoming too late. That's the thing. There's sometimes time limits to things. When you start doing things and stuff like that, there's just basically time limits where people just break their psyche. You told me that we're breaking your psyche. You're also breaking all of our psyches because you're doing everything where you just sometimes can't come back from it. So this part right here is getting so bad where you just literally can't come back from this. You're basically worse than Cindy. You are becoming worse than Cindy. You realize.
I'm not sure. I wouldn't compare them. oh, Birdie's worse than Cinny, then that whole wording kind of downplays what Cinny did. I think they're both horrible people who don't need to have a platform in general. Let's not compare each other to each other.
Too late. Stuff like that for too many things. Even then, I don't know how to believe your words because you said that gaslighting is fun to me. You said that you can pretend to do things. How can I trust your word? You've lied to us so many times
Let me
that I
stop
can't.
you right there with that one too. I only meant in the context of like, I don't think you understood properly because it's not something that people do like as a joke. But I'll be like, oh yeah, this. Did you know that? Let me think of an example. Do you know that James Corden was in SpongeBob? That's like that's what I was talking about. I do not try to intentionally
Treat abusers as separate people, okay? Don't be constantly fucking comparing each other. Treat it like case by case. Birdie did this, Cinny did this. You cannot sit here and be like, Birdie is worse than Cinny. I don't care. I don't care who's worse than who, okay? Stop making comparisons. Just fucking focus on what they did. Comparisons aren't necessary, okay? They're both horrible people. They both did bad things. One of them might have done worse things than the other. Who knows? Who cares? But you shouldn't fucking word it like that because then it kind of downplays what the other person did. Yeah, this person is actually worse than that person. Like, oh my fucking God, they're both bad. They're both bad. They're both bad. Move on.
lie to people. And I know that I've lied to you and I'm still processing that. Yesterday I realized
I also don't really like how Birdie speaks whenever he's confronted about things like this, okay? How do I word this? It feels like he's using therapist talk in a way. He's like, well, I need time to process this, and I'm also going through this in a mental space, and blah, 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 and my mental health, and this, and that, and that, and that. I don't know. It's just like, it rubs me the wrong way, because he's like, I need time to process. I have mental health issues, and this is going on, and I feel like this is blah, 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 blah. Like, it's weird. He's acting like BoJack Horseman. Yeah.
I'm wrong. And
That's why he kins him.
But it's the process.
I genuinely don't know how to word what I'm trying to say. It's just like the way he speaks about it. He's like, I have to do this because I have this. I hate how therapy talk has been bastardized by this.
You were having happily fun on Discord right there and then. Before any of this happened, I was listening to you laughing off over there.
Yeah.
I understand how your mental health can impact you in situations, and the environment you're in can also impact how you behave in situations and why you behave the way you do. But when it comes to owning up and talking about things, I've learned, like, you know, autistic people, they overshare. We're like too honest with like what's going on in our lives. But I've noticed that, like, if you're constantly bringing up yourself, like your fucking issues and shit like that, like, my mental health was really bad and I was going through this and that. Yes, it obviously adds like context as to why you're behaving the way you're behaving, right? But at the same time, other people are going to view that as you deflecting and using it as an excuse. So, like, whether he's deflecting or not, other people are going to view it as that. Same thing goes for, like, literally anybody.
Just having fun, which I understand it is okay to laugh off and stuff like that. I understand it's fine.
A dark time, like, don't do it. Don't do it. You could have been. Maybe you're not lying, but other people will always view it like a weird way.
Yeah. Cool.
Just be real. Don't use therapy speech. Don't use therapy talk and be like, I have to process this, and because of this, I have more important things going on, and also this and that. Like, I don't care. Just own up. Be honest.
Yeah, but it's becoming too late. You've said all these things to us, and now you're just finally realizing the gravity of your situation. Did someone tell you your actions, how bad it was? Why does it take someone else to tell you how bad your actions are sometimes? Which I understand. I should not be making that as a thing because sometimes it is. Sometimes someone needs to tell you.
Because he's an impulsive person. Not defending, but it's because I know what he is. He doesn't think before he does shit. He's very emotionally driven. No fucking shit. It's why he keeps having his little, like, meltdowns on Twitter. It's why he keeps getting into fucking drama. And until he actually puts in the effort to change himself for the better and actually go to therapy and be honest with this fucking therapist rather than being like, oh, well, like, fucking hell. I don't know. He has the capability of getting better, but I don't think he wants to. And as long as he has people who are, like, willing to blindly believe him and, like, coddle him, then he's not gonna. And even then, I don't know if he actually ever will put in the effort, regardless of who's coddling him or who isn't.
But the thing is that you've gone through these types of situations before. You should have known better. You've had people manipulate you. You got pissed at the same things that we're getting pissed at you for. And yet here you are making some excuses for some things and stuff like that. And you've even admitted right now that you have lied to me. Of course, I'm not going to take you very seriously for those kinds of stuff.
Okay. Ooh, buddy, that's bright. Okay. Brightness down. All right. Okay, if Jack was lying about important details around some of the situations he was in, what were they? How did you find out? I wasn't there to witness or experience any of those dramas, but from what I've heard, Jack's been lying about grooming Draggy, lying about Maryland Guy, hiding important information from his audience, like hiding his actions, how bad his racist past was, hiding who he was as a person, hiding screenshots of his actions, etc. There's so much in his I'm Back video that he lies about, over-exaggerates, under-exaggerates, and many more than he does. I can even say that some of the abuse he's talked about, like with his grandparents, I could say he's over-exaggerated and probably even lied about. I've only found these out thanks to everyone online pointing and letting me know how, way back when I was defending him. How much does the public actually not know, and is it really that important? I said this in question 10, but here's the screenshots and a bit more details to my thought process. The ones I can think from Jack's video that I've noticed not many people talking about would be with his grandparents. Living with his grand. You say your parents can't handle you. Nobody can handle you. I think you need to put some work into trying not to be so much to handle. You burned your bridges here. Telling people you didn't feel safe here was incredibly underhanded and hurtful. If you don't want to get kicked out, you should probably talk to Nana and Jean about what you can do to deserve to stay here. And what do they need to see from you? How can you prove yourself? Are you willing to try? Or you can ask a shelter owner for help and put in more effort there. At least you wouldn't be homeless. When I first noticed this, I thought it wasn't bad at all. Instead, this is something I would have said. This is when I realized that there's so much that Jack has been spinning the narrative around for his own benefits, may it be for pity points or victim playing. Although this is speculation, I think that I have some grounds to doubt Jack's claims that he thinks his parents are evil or whatnot. After all, what hasn't Jack lied about? I would say it's somewhat important, because if Jack can lie about his grandparents, his family, and call them evil, who else has he lied about and sent mob hate to? Lots of people have been traumatized, became victims, and now have to go through a rough healing process because of him. It sucks that we now have these doubts about these people and if they're actually horrible people, but Jack really shouldn't have lied about them and made them out to be evil. Like most of the Birdie drama... Okay, question 22. Like most of the Birdie drama, docs are pretty much up there, are bad, and were addressed in his video, which I can now see are very poor, childish rebuttals. Whatever. Yeah, that was my fault for not watching Jack's I'm Back video at all. I only watched the first half where he talked about his life and how he moved in the city, because I was wondering if he was going to mention me. He only mentioned me for a brief second, and I was a bit saddened because I was the one who drove all the way to Washington with Cindy. Who fucking cares if you get mentioned in a goddamn video? You still did the fucking thing. Why do you need the public recognition for it? I understand it's probably the whole, oh, well, I did so much for him. Why doesn't he acknowledge it? Like, bro, come on. But, like, not being mentioned in the fucking video, that's what you're bitching about? Boo fucking who? Realistically, who gives a shit? Anyways, Sure, we used Cindy's car, but I was the one who drove for about 47 hours out of the 50-hour trip, and that's not accounting for the rest stops we took. That trip took 3 days, and anyway, before I go on a rant, that part isn't important to this conversation. I can always talk about it later. I'll move on. After seeing that Jack didn't really mention me other than that one small bit, I exited the video and never touched it again till recently. I shouldn't have done that, but even then I probably would have been too stupid and blind to really notice anything, or maybe I'm discrediting the past self too much, but I'll never know. This video didn't mention me, so I'm not watching it. Okay, cool. What is this document? So this is a document on Birdie in real life from Queen. Former friend, IRL, former Hauser, or whatever. How much are you actually sure that Jack's exes are not lying or spinning the narrative to make the situation into a new wave of Birdie drama? Woo! I don't know fully how much who is doing that, but from my witnessed and heard, I can believe in the statements about the abuse that Jack has done. We've heard a lot about who wronged Jack from Jack's POV. There are some that are questionable, few that are fair to say they abused him, and a couple that aren't actually abusive to him, but we never get to hear from those who were wronged by Jack. There's a saying that I somewhat, with a lot of asterisks, believe in. I'd rather believe the alleged victims over the alleged groomer, especially if I don't know them, unless there's evidence to prove otherwise. That's why I believe Jack back then with Cindy, especially since she herself confirmed it and then continued to antagonize us for a while, and that's why I'll believe the victims of Jack. It also supports the victims in my mind when I witnessed and experienced Jack's own horrible self. I think it's justified for the past drama to resurface due to how it was, one, due to how it was handled horribly, Jack keeps reopening the past by constantly talking about it, and Jack's refusal to let himself heal by not growing and moving on, if that makes sense. There's unforgivable things out there that I'm aware of. Yeah, there are unforgivable things out there about Jack, which is why he shouldn't be on the internet ever. Although I'm sorry, I cannot see how we cannot hold... I cannot really see how we can hold Jack accountable for it, considering he was a mentally ill, abused kid, not justifying his actions or him. There comes a point where, in my opinion, reasons become excuses. Where does a reason become a crutch to use, you know? There's the line where, yes, one's environment makes them into who they are, but there's a point where it becomes who one is, where one needs to start owning up for things they caused. Jack's need to own up to his past and actually take accountability, something he keeps denying and dodging. Obviously, yeah, his, fucking hell. His online and real-life environment shaped him into the person that he is today, but on the other hand, regardless of his mental issues, regardless of, like, all the drama and controversy he's gotten himself into over the years, it's on him to grow and change as the person. Like, you can have a bunch of shit happen to you, but you can still be a good person, you know? Also, regardless of whatever, like, mental illness you have, you still cannot use that to justify abusing someone. Being like, but my BPD. Yes, I am sorry. I sympathize with you for struggling with BPD, but at the same time, that's on you to become a better person and acknowledge your mistakes instead of victimizing yourself and putting everybody else on blast and claiming that you're the one who's being wronged by them instead of you wronging and hurting other people. You're not the victim, not in every situation, and you have to understand that, okay? I understand the whole black and white thinking and thinking that everybody's out to get you because of paranoia, right? But you're not the victim in every single fucking thing. Anyways, well, I guess he's not a kid as of now, but the old accusations are from 2020 to 2022 when he was a minor, yet we can protect other kids when they have done similar, if not the same mistakes that Jack has done, which is kind of hypocritical. Kind of repeating myself, but Jack hasn't taken accountability for anything. That's why the past keeps haunting him. He's not letting it rest, and he hasn't given the past a good send-off. It's like sailing in a broken boat. The boat being the past, and how you fix it is how you'll sail, if that makes sense. I don't know, I just made that up on the fly. Continuing on, I believe that Jack has broken the law and is just a bad influence in general. He needs to stay offline in a way for good. No matter how much he improves, coming back will just hurt his progress. And for the other kids we're protecting, sorry, I'm kind of lost on this trail of your thinking here, apologies. If any kids do the same thing that Jack has done, they're in the wrong. Just because a kid is 16 doesn't mean they can't know better. Kids are naive, not stupid. Experience versus intelligence, you know? Especially since Jack has shown to know better, he just doesn't want to be better. Instead, he'll lie and say he didn't know any better just to get out of his consequences. If somebody really didn't know better, just apologize and try not to make the same mistake. It'd be hard to unlearn, but if it's for becoming a better person, it should be worth it to, you know, try. Things ahead. Please correct me if I'm wrong in any of my takes and tell me if I sound too protective of him. I don't want to try to protect him, but I want to try to stay objective and treat everyone with the same amount of respect. Ironic coming from you. I don't trust you to be objective at all. Good luck and sorry for... Okay, I'm not listening to this. This song fucking sucks. Okay, hold on. Anyways. English isn't my first language. No worries, as one's self is... Okay, this is a fucking question. I'm stupid. My bad, bruh. My bad, bruh. Anyways. La. Okay, so that's a question. Queen didn't say that. No worries, as long as oneself is willing to learn and improve, it's okay to think of a situation you don't fully understand differently. This is too loud. Okay. Blah, 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 blah. Hopefully with everything coming out to light, you and others' perspectives on Jack can change and realize how awful Jack has been. He luckily doesn't need any kind of protection because he can make it himself. It's just that he'd rather run and hide instead of facing it head on. This situation calls for facing problems head on, especially if he wants to become a content creator. Hopefully I did your questions justice. It was a lot and I had to paraphrase some of it, so hopefully your point is still clear in my paraphrasing. Let me know if it's not. What was Jack's reaction to giving away Squirp to you? Before I go on, Cindy has decided to revert back to using Squirp, so when I say Squirp, it's latte. Jack's reaction, it was either quiet or just accepting. He said that he cared about her, said that he couldn't live without her, but that he just didn't put up any complaints or fights, which is a good thing, I think, / hope. Although it just makes me more upset when I think of his previous behaviors, like how he acted out when he thought that he was going to lose Squirp. He told me he lived for Squirp and for something else, and that he could attempt if he lost them both. Although, him accepting it so fast might have been helped by the fact that he thought that Squirp hated him. Dunno, just guessing, even though she didn't and it was him just overthinking it. Okay. Going into more previous Going into previous behaviors with some added context, he tried to attempt because he thought that Cindy would get squirp and that he wouldn't have squirp anymore. This is where this post comes into play. I'm not gonna scroll down and look at that because it has self-harm on his legs and I really don't want to fucking check that shit at all. Oh my god. Okay. Check. Bad streamer doesn't. GoatCatto need to check DMs. Okay.
Check your DMs.
Okay. I'm checking DMs. My bad, bro. My bad. Is that Lio Emo Boy? What the fuck, man? This is fucked up. That's amazing. Whoa. Does Lio know? Does Lio know? Does Lio know that this exists yet? Oh, so why does he look high? Is the Discord server 18 plus? Yeah. It's for adults only, okay? Adults only. Anyways. Okay. She took Squirp. She took my baby. She doesn't even like her. She only took her away because she hates me. I visited Stupid yesterday. She's not taking care of her. She's gonna neglect Squirp too. I want my baby back. These are my last photos of her, but she took everything from me. I've lost. This post was made because I was about to give Squirp up to Cindy due to the papers, and I decided to tell Jack. Kind of a big mistake because I then had to basically talk him out of attempting suicide. During this, he tried to make a Twitter post before this one where he had pills in his hand and was about to caption it something like this, like me, Jack, or Cindy, something like that. I had to physically stop him and manually force an exit from Twitter by tapping on his touchscreen computer. He grumbled and went to Discord to talk to others. I sat there on the bed nervous and we talked about death and stuff. This was my first time ever having to talk somebody out of killing themselves. I was crying. I told him that a bunch of people want him to live and that I believe in him and how he can do so many things and he should live. He told me that with someone of his many disabilities that he doesn't see himself living and should just end it all. Okay. All right. Lovely. Yay. So that's what that post was. I thought he posted that because Trump won. No, this was a different thing, I think. I don't know. I don't want to look through Birdie's Twitter. It gives me a fucking headache. I do remember that post though where he's like, I'm like 2% Hispanic. I'm gonna post a picture of me like with some fucking pills. I'm gonna kill myself. Like, okay, awesome. He's not gonna deport you. You're fucking fine. Anyways. Just because you have any disabilities that may hinder you in anything doesn't mean you deserve to die. You can make it in the world and live your own way as long as you're safe, happy, and healthy. Jack was just in a depressive episode, but he's told me that's what he thinks almost 24/7, so it's not all just because he was in a depressive episode or splitting. Although, just because someone is in a depressive episode or is splitting doesn't mean they can't be held responsible for their actions. That's a slippery slope of a topic to go on and should be treated in a case-by-case situation. Everybody has their own circumstances where lots are shared with others, but the best way to get help is by asking for help in the right places, if that makes sense. Okay. We're on page 30 of fucking 57. I'm gonna go insane, dude. Fucking hell. All right. Before I go on, though, that doesn't mean that Jack should have worded it like that. I don't know why he worded it like that, and I wish he had at least given an update or something. Question 29, was Cindy lying when she said she didn't have the cat? A, Cindy never had squirps, so she was correct on that. What she wasn't correct is kind of framing me as a bitch or something. I don't know, because, like, I understand my actions, but, like, I noticed Simi that I seem like a bitch, so never mind. You literally refused to give her the fucking cat that you had no legal right to own. Or like withhold from Cindy. You didn't have the paperwork, you didn't have the registration, it wasn't in Jack's name, it wasn't in your name. The paperwork stated that the cat belonged to Cindy, not you. And you were refusing to give it over because, I don't want to. I don't want to, because fuck you. And also, I'm attached to the cat now. I just don't want you to have it. Fucking asshole. Of course you're a bitch. You also tried to take Jack's money out of spite, too. Like, fuck off. Luckily, she did take the video down, but speaking of the video, I want to elaborate on one thing. In that scene where Cindy came to my house unannounced, I was scared. I had Scorp in the house, and luckily she was just downstairs and never came upstairs during this whole confrontation. The reason why I said that Scorp was mine was because of two things that Jack had given me as custody of Latte, but I never let Cindy know of that. And the other was because I didn't think when I said that, as I was panicking, you don't even... Dude. None of you had fucking documentation to legally own Latte. Jack did not give you ownership of Latte or Squirt or whatever the fuck, right? Why are you so stupid? Why are you so fucking stupid? You're dumb. You're dumb. Did you even look at the fucking paperwork? The cat wasn't even in a bad home environment to begin with. Oh, they didn't clean a litter box enough. Oh my god, boo-hoo. Yeah. Okay. I did leave out a lot of things that happened with Scorp on purpose because we didn't know what Cindy would do with that information. The fact that she showed up to my house to demand Scorp back proved to me that she could do anything if she put her mind to it, in my eyes. You work with her, you're housing fucking Jack and the cat. Of course she knows where you live. She wants to take back the property that you fucking stole from her. Of course she's gonna show up at your fucking house. If you took my fucking cat, I'd pull up. Why is this like so insane to you? Oh my god, she's like really capable of doing anything if she puts her head to it. Like, okay, cool, buddy, cool. Cindy did a lot of shit to us during this whole stuff, but luckily it died down now and Cindy realized what she did. Damage has been done, unfortunately. Cindy groomed Eno. Cindy doubled down on their actions. Cindy thought she was in the clear. Ara felt the need to quit his job because he was co-workers with Cindy. Cindy called Ara a drug dealer. I had to deal with her dragging her names through the mud and many more. There's a lot that happened with Cindy in just those 2 months, September and October. And I didn't touch on all of it, nor does that even touch what happened with Jack from November to March. Before I go on, I want to say as an update, I gave Squirt back to Cindy. It was about time, and I held on to her for too long, even past the point where Cindy was ready to own 2 cats. On April 28th, I gave Squirt back to Cindy, and I apologized to her. Kept the cat longer than was necessary. Started from me just holding on to Squirt for Jack, to Jack giving me his side of the ownership of Squirt to better care for her, then to me keeping Squirt, then getting ownership in a complicated sense. Around November, Cindy did give me permission to keep Squirt, and I do have the recording of it, which unfortunately helped boost my stupid ego. Just glad the wake-up call that finally slapped me and was able to do the right thing by giving Cindy her cat back. What was that thing about the shelter sending Cindy messages about Latte being held there? Oh yeah, the messages. I have a reason for this. I took Squirt to the vet for her first time. Yes, it was her first time at the vet. Neither Cindy nor Jack took Squirt to a vet, even as a checkup, since they got her in December of 2023. My vet did a little microchip scan because I told them that Latte had a microchip, in which they contacted Cindy. Although I don't know why it continued to text Cindy after she visited them, probably automated or something. Did Jack ever tell you his reasoning for essentially abandoning Baby? Yeah, the reason why Jack abandoned Stupid, her new name is Baby now, was because I'm not taking in 2 cats. I already have 3 cats at my house. If we took in 2 more cats, that would be 5, and then I would have had 6 at some point because I was watching Jane Doe's cat when she left her mom's house. I told Jack that he could only take 1 cat, and he chose Scorp over Baby because Latte was more attached to him, and he thought that Baby would be okay by herself. Not how cats work, by the way. You cannot separate them. Do not fucking separate. Don't fucking separate animals from each other. They're bonded. Because now you have a cat living at fucking Cindy's apartment with no playmate while Cindy's working like what, 3 jobs, some shit like that. And then Jack, I'm not even sure if Jack's engaging with the cat normally or on a fucking regular basis or anything. Gamma wants you to match his look. Put the hood on. Shut up. But, you know, fucking retarded. Oh my god. Either way, if I did go back, I 100% would have given Squirt up much sooner or whatever. I think it's kind of normal to take your favorite cat in the divorce if you have more than one. Trying to argue one of them should have one or both cats feels like a personal choice that differs depending on the situation. Regardless of our opinions on Cynthia and Jack, each taking 1 cat feels pretty normal, especially since Cynthia did get Squirt as a gift for Jack. Okay, well still, they're a fucking bonded pair. Why would you separate them? Idiot. Oh my god. Blah, 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 blah. I don't care. Before I go on, though, I do have a rant that's left over from previous updates. From the start, when Cindy and Jack first adopted Squirt, they called me to get my old cat supplies instead of getting anything. No food, no kitty litter, no toys, no nothing. They only bought a little hamster bag because Squirt was just a kitten. This was during a time when I didn't have cats, long story, so I told Cindy that if they had a cat and I didn't, they could get my cat stuff, but the fact that they didn't even buy food Jack was the one who had cats. He should have said something. Then again, Jack has always been irresponsible, so why am I even surprised? Anyways, I had to drive Jack to a pet store and have him pay for kitten food. Because that was the only thing I didn't have and Cindy was at work. Anyway, rant over, because I can always talk about this another day. Here's proof that I did give them my old cat stuff. Okay, cool. I really don't give a shit. Why did he only take Squirp if he was worried that Cindy was going to neglect the cats and then leave one of the cats with her? I don't know, because I thought that Cindy would be okay with one cat and that she was fine. So my belief was correct in the beginning. I gave Plus, I gave Jack a 1-cat limit. That's my reasoning for it. But also, Jack was kind of insistent on taking a cat, and I was cool with that, so I didn't mind taking one of them. Luckily, as of current, Cindy is doing fine with Baby and Squirp now too. I know that if I knew stuff about Jack as I know him now, because I didn't know about all the horrible stuff he did back then, I wouldn't have let him see Squirp. Is Cindy still your coworker? Yes, although I have 2 jobs, so for one of them, yes, she is. When at home, did Jack ever do anything to help the place? No, he's never tried to help, blah, blah, blah. We already know. Jack responded saying he didn't know how to do the dishes. Here's the part I'm talking about. Okay, great. We're gonna listen to Jack struggling to talk about doing dishes.
Speaking of your hypocrisy, you say that Cindy's not clean. You're not clean as well. You has to clean up a lot of your stuff.
She didn't tell me that.
Your plates, you leave your plates in there and she has to clean that.
Amazing.
Even then, speaking of the plates about, oh,
She could have said that to me. What? I wouldn't have known. I can't read people's minds. I'm not mad at her. It's just like I didn't know, so.
Common decency. I know you weren't raised right.
Common decency?
Not even common decency. It's household rules, stuff like that. You tell Cindy to do the dishes and everything like that. She says she does, she will, and the stuff like that. So you know that the dishes should be done.
I don't know how they're supposed to be done.
Oh, now suddenly we're saying, I don't know how they're supposed to be done. You can ask people.
It's a fucking dish.
Nope. Sit down, Jack. Jack, sit down. Come back here.
You're just here to yell at me.
I'm not yelling at you. I'm literally criticizing you. This is your excuses. You're using your excuses again. You said you want to change. You said you want me to be honest. I am being honest. If you want to say that you changed, just go sit down.
Yeah, he doesn't know how to do the fucking dishes.
Just go through the list.
I don't believe that. I don't believe that. You don't know how to wash fucking dishes, dude? Plate, sponge, soap, squirt soap on sponge, scrub plate till squeaky clean, put it in dishwasher. Come on. This is fucking stupid. This is fucking stupid. Oh my god. Didn't he talk about how,
Hey, remember the CP claims? What about them?
Fucking not. Yeah, apparently we're not gonna go into depth about that. That's just lost to time now. Fucking stupid, bro. I don't understand any of this. Fucking hell. And I've got like 30 minutes before work, and I'm on 34 of 57. Let's log in. Oh, look, it's Spark Grizzle. Okay. La 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 la. Has he been trying to get Latte and Squirt back? Not that I know of. Do you think Jack is aware of how his actions have affected others? Yes, obviously he knows. I'm not going to read that. Blah, 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 blah. Is there going to be a section talking about the things he drew? Probably not, because I don't know too much of his history, but here's my take. His concerning art is Seth's Deadly Sins art. Anything that's extremely gory and sexual should be put behind his 18+ account. Anything cute and non-extreme is okay to put on his normal account, like the derpy drawing he drew. Yeah, cool. Stuff like this needs a bit more tweaking. Why the fuck would he post someone obviously just finishing self-harm in that third photo? Just don't draw that part and it would be fine, but it's in a gray area, so it'd be safer. Just tag it. It doesn't have to be like 16+ or 18+. Just fucking tag it and be like, yeah, there's gore. Self-harm warning. That's all he needs to do. I don't care. When did you start to realize that Jack wasn't a good person? It's a snowball effect, which started in early November, late October. Started off small. Okay, yeah. As red flags in his behavior. There were many, but one point was when Jack said that Jane Doe dipped on him without a word when that wasn't the case. This is what Jack said about Jane Doe to me. We already read this. This is what Jane Doe's supposed dipped without saying anything looks like. Have you heard anything back from the apartment? This is Jack speaking. I've been thinking about decorating my room so often now it's becoming bothersome. Jane Doe, sorry I didn't put in the application because my mom wants me to go to college and blank, so now I have to start saving my money. Also, Queen is gonna bring you your stuff tomorrow. Also, with my mom, I'm moving back in with her because she told me she won't charge me for rent. Fuck, what do I do? Frown emoji. Save up all the money you can while living with Julie Smith. She's figuring out what to do in June, and it'll give you time to snag another ground floor. You'll have to pay fair rent, but otherwise try to figure out a balance between groceries and wants while maintaining savings. Okay. So yeah, communication, not reading all that. Pissed me off that he also compared us trying our best to help him versus with his situation with his family. You know, the people that have used him. Okay, that's great. Cool. Cool. Anyways, how do you think Jack will respond to all of this publicly? I personally don't know. I guess my best guess is he'll either apologize, admit to his mistakes, actually follow up, apologize to his victim, or double down, blame everyone, play victim, or run away and not come back. As much as we wish that he'd do number one, it's extremely far-fetched. Hopefully he'll do it, but probably not. Can we get a general timeline of the events? Okay. Oh my god, I'm not reading that. Okay, fucking hell. Okay. I guess I'll read it. I'm getting tired of fucking reading. It's like killing me. Anyways, can we get a general timeline? Okay, blah, 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 blah. When did Jack leave Cindy? Picked up Jack on September 15th. Cool. Where was Squirt? From September 15th, 2024 to April 28th, Squirt was at my house. I'm not reading all that. I don't care. I don't care. Cindy relinquished her side of the custody of Squirt to me around November 2024. March of 2025, me and Cindy stopped talking. Late April of 2025, I contacted Puppy to give back Squirt as I realized I was acting a fool. September 15th is when Jack moved from Cindy's apartment to December 8th when he got kicked out by Julie Smith. Why did Jack lie about the cat? This is the post, by the way. Don't know, but all I can say with guarantee is that he wasn't in the right mindset when he made that post. Blah 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 blah. You know what? If you guys want to read this, you can. I'm gonna leave a link in the fucking description, but I don't know if I really care to fucking read that shit. The cat situation's over and done with. I don't want to read a fucking paragraph about it. What has he been doing on the hiatus ever since he's been kicked out of Julie Smith's apartment and gone out of state? I don't know. He was radio silent with me. Where's the 10K? From what I've seen, he seems to be using it for himself, but beforehand, when he was living with us, it was just rotting in his bank account, not being used. How did the confrontation go? It went, eh. Do you think Jack will try to manipulate the situation around in his favor? I hope not, but I think he will. Okay, I recommend talking about Jack romanticizing self-harm and gore on his 18+ account. Okay, cool. Alright, cool. Jack is seen here in these screenshots basically encouraging people and telling people how to self-harm safely. Don't self-harm. Can never, in my opinion, truly be done safely. Even if you're safe from death, for what reason you're self-harming, it's not worth it. There's better ways to cope. Going on, I don't have access to his 18+ account, and I don't feel like I have all the information to even be able to talk about that situation. Although, here's my 2 cents. He shouldn't be doing this, even in his 18+ account. Those things can be leaked, and self-harm is a very dangerous behavior, and is usually committed in a bad mindset. Please, if anybody's doing self-harm, don't do it. Blah, 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 blah. Were you aware of him avoiding the blame and shifting it onto others and stuff, like in his I'm back video? No, blah blah blah, cat stuff, city, blah 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 blah. Is there anything else I really care about in here? Do I even need to read this? Oh my god, I'm like tired. Okay. Oh, there is more stuff. Okay. Hold on. Okay. Does Jack know about Cindy being able to visit Squirp? Cindy was only able to visit once so far. Okay, I don't care about that. Actually, I really don't care. After knowing Jack, do you believe that he has a perpetual victim complex? After knowing Jack, yes. What I've seen, heard, and experienced, he barely blames himself. The only times he does blame himself is if it doesn't make him too much of a bad guy, like blaming his disabilities like BPD, autism, etc. He even looks up new disabilities and claims he has them without going to an actual professional. I've started a response, but I need to wait till I'm stabilized. There's a lot plaguing my mind. I'm not trying to hide anything from you. The only person I told about the disorder until now was Blank and Al. Okay, cool. Ugh. I'm tired. I don't want to read this. Good God. If you want to self-harm, just don't do B. It's not going to work, sadly, and if anything, safety discussions are the best you can do. Jack is simply not the person to talk to about it. Yep, pretty much. I have a combination of borderline personality disorder and narcissistic personality disorder. I started wondering if it was normal that my world centers around myself so badly and I get so angry about things when I know I'm wrong. And then I started doing research and I realized my behavior wasn't normal or healthy. There's a lot of stigma around this disorder, so I want you to know this doesn't mean I lack empathy or never care or never think of others, even though I have been selfish lately and taken people for granted. Okay. Okay, what was the final straw to get him basically kicked out of the state? For the fact that Jack could possibly have CP and... are you going to elaborate that? What the fuck are you on about, bro? They still won't go into depth about, oh yeah, Jack could possibly have CP. What is that? What's up with that? Anyways, I confronted him on that and he denied it, but Julie Smith wanted him out, which is fair and reasonable. He was being a bad roommate. We didn't kick him out of the state. We kicked him out of Julie Smith's house. That was on Jack for leaving the state. Blah, 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 blah. If Jack makes a response, what do you think it'll be like? Probably the dragging grooming situation and then some recent stuff like why he went away. A lot of my RLs are evil. They're using me. Whatever. Oh my god. Also, yeah, no, it's very obvious he has MPD. Very obvious. Anyways. Okay, little guy stuff. Okay. How did Jack respond to confrontation about his interactions with me at first? Luckily, I already put the recording of what Jack told me in question 19, so no need to repeat. Do you think Jack deserves to come back even if he were to improve tremendously? If Jack wanted to improve, then he would know that the best thing for him to do would be to stay off the internet. He's hurt too many people. He just needs to apologize and leave. Will Jack lash out like he has in the past? I hope not, but we'll see. Okay. What did Jack spend the 10K on? Do you have the... Okay, this is what Jack said. Now that the 10K untouched until I had to go to Seattle, you making that assumption and then immediately posting to Twitter about it is insanely dangerous. Okay, so... Okay, whatever. Okay, whatever. Okay. Did Jack try to get a place to live or find a stable job with a reliable source of income? Not really. He told Julie that he was trying to find one, but it was pretty obvious he was just pushing it back and not really pursuing it, although he did try to find one, so there's some credit there. La 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 la. I don't care. I don't care about this. Why the fuck is this in here? Okay. Not a question, but it was under my tweet, so I might as well give my comment, especially with the music that Jack has listened to. Jack has a mixtape he always likes to play whenever I'm driving him places. There's some pretty good songs on there, but then there's also some interesting songs on there. I didn't think too much of this one song until I read what Zone was. Then I realized this is one song that Jack listened to. I'd like to teach the world to fap in perfect harmony. Oh, okay. Why do we fucking care? Does anyone find it weird that his response to someone explaining to him that Zone is problematic, he drew his OC dressed as Zone for Halloween is just deh? They made porn of an underage character. Okay, great. Oh my god, yes. I like to teach the world how to fap on his playlist. Wow. I don't know if this means anything, but I guess this would show that Jack knows that Zone does lewd things at least. Okay, when was this added on there? I don't fucking care. It's a song. Nobody gives a shit. Nobody gives a shit. Nobody gives a fucking shit. I don't care. Ugh. Do you have any hope for Jack in the far future? I do believe that Jack can change after like 10 years. I mean, it's 10 years. Do you think Jack will change? I believe he can, but that's up to him. Are you the others you're close with still friends with Jack? Nope. Updates. Before I end this doc, I have some updates for January and February 2025. As of finishing the script, I've posted some updates on my Twitter. So for those who have been reading up on my updates, I already know this, but here, Jack still has his stuff here. Okay, we already fucking did that. Anyways, conclusion. Going on to the conclusion. I'm just glad I finally finished this. I started this around mid-December and I finished this doc on February 24th, but decided it was just easier to post it as the doc, so I finally finished it on May 4th. Luckily, it seems like this whole situation between me and Jack is over, and even with Cindy as well. After I post this doc, I won't be responding to drama on Jack or even Cindy unless it involves me. Anyways, thank you for staying and listening till the end. Hopefully, the way I text isn't too annoying to read, or at least legible. Wherever you are, I hope you enjoy the rest of your day or night or evening or even dawn. Okay. There was only like maybe 3 or 4 things I actually gave a shit about in that entire fucking like 57 page doc. Was it 57? Yeah, 57. I feel rotted. Mentally fucking rotted. I don't know why I wasted my time reading that, but oh well. I'm gonna put, I guess, the fucking link and shit in the description. Blah 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 blah. This is so fucking stupid. Oh my god. This was a waste of a fucking document, alright? What happened to the CP claims? I don't fucking know. I don't know. I do not know. They didn't elaborate on it. You'll be forgetting about it the second your shift hits. Yeah. It's a 3-hour shift. This shit's ass. But yeah, no, the only thing of importance, I guess, was number one, the CP claim that they did not elaborate on, like, at all, which I think is concerning. The little guy, I guess, the fucking recording about the little guy situation. And what else? I guess, you know, the recording where he was crying and talking about his parents. I don't think that should have been recorded, but it does explain, I guess, people being like, well, why is he in contact with his parents if he's blah, blah, blah. I don't think it's, like, important in, like, the grand scheme of things, but it does show that he has an emotional attachment to his parents still. And it's very obviously something that's tough for him to talk about because he gets emotional. But I still don't know why they posted that on there. I wonder why he never mentioned his MPD publicly. I don't know. At least it's confirmed that he's a grifter IRL. Yeah, I don't know. They just completely glossed over the CP stuff. Do they just not care? Yeah, they kind of just like throw it out there and then don't elaborate. I'm still fucking lost. You can't just like throw a claim like that and then move on like it's nothing. Like that's fucking serious. Do I disagree? What do you mean? Disagree on what? About him being a grifter? I think he definitely takes advantage of people. I'm sure the CP is something we already know instead of something new. Yeah, but like you should probably like at least provide a little bit more context as to what the fuck you're talking about, genuinely. You can't just throw some shit like that out there. But anyways, I have to go to work in like fucking 20 minutes, so I gotta go get ready. Ha Jack most likely never mentioned his MPD because it's a demonized mental illness. Yeah. He did talk about how there's negative stigma regarding the illness and stuff like that. Thanks, Goat. My depression room is officially clean. Okay, cool. Cool. That's good stuff. I understand how hard it can be to like clean up and shit when you're going through a phase like that. Raid into Marcus. Okay. All 150 viewers, alright? I am going to redirect you to my friend Marcus, and what I want all of you to do, and I will be there, I'll know what you're talking about, I'll know if you do it or not. I want you to spam GoatCatto raid. Alright? I will be watching. You all better be there, or I'm gonna kill my... I'm not gonna do that, I'm just kidding. But yeah, no. Spam him with some shit. That'd be funny. Alright. Scream GoatCatto. Go raid Marcus. Goodbye.